From the Kiss 92.5 studios in Toronto, Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Roz and Mocha.
It's Roz and Mocha. What's going on?
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
This is Selena Gomez.
The Chainsmokers.
Lady Gaga.
Calvin Harris.
Celestia Cara.
This is Ed Sheeran.
You're listening to my boys Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
My boys Roz and Mocha.
The Roz and Mocha Show.
Between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Roz. Mocha. I think Mocha. You guys are so funny, man.
Congratulations, Lisa! Wow! You just won $1,000.
That is amazing. Y'all just made my entire morning. Keep it up.
You guys are awesome, man. This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So this Kellyanne Conway and her daughter Claudia, who's 15 and is this huge TikTok star. And Claudia Conway's been the one that's been like breaking a lot of the news within the Conway house on who has COVID, who doesn't have COVID. Remember, she did a TikTok video saying that her mom was coughing all over the house.
Does she hate her mom? She does, right?
Yeah, I think that she thinks that her parents are talented and smart, but she just hates what they do.
Gotcha.
Okay. But they fight like every mom and 15-year-old kid fight. Sure. So what happened was, I guess that Kellyanne was trying to get Claudia to apologize or take back what she said about all the tests that Kellyanne did. Where one of them was positive or three of them were positive and one of them was negative. Whatever it was, Kellyanne wasn't happy with what Claudia was saying on TikTok and was trying to get her to retract her statement. But Claudia just records everything.
Oh, gosh.
So listen to this.
What?
You've caused so much disruption.
Disruption?
You lied about your mother about COVID?
Oh no, Mom.
About COVID?
It's how I interpreted
it. Tested immediately.
Mom, I guess I misinterpreted it.
You guess you misinterpreted it?
Yeah, you said it was negative. So I spent the day with you.
I got that result. You're taping me again?
Is Trump gonna die?
No, he's not, thank God.
Oh my God.
I'm not getting off of it. Because you're being nice to me right now.
I want to go to sleep.
Where are you going? You can come in. Why?
Because this is my room.
Okay, so things are not good. And they got to quarantine together.
No.
They're quarantining together. So then Claudia goes on and starts speaking in code. So listen to this.
Itigai can again, nitigot, gitigat, itiga, ritigas, titigad, itiga, gitigan, vitigat, witigood, hitigat, pitigan.
What?
Okay, and so this goes on for a long time. And then people in her comment section are like, if you feel like you're in danger, take one of your earrings out. And then she like takes an earring out and all this stuff. So what she said was, I'm on live right now because I'm scared of my mom. So play the code back.
Itigai can again, nitigot, gitigat.
Okay. So what this is, and a lot of people are calling it Pig Latin, but it's not Pig Latin. It's actually, there's videos of it that you can find from like the early 2000s. It's just a language that kids use called gibberish. Like it's called gibberish. Okay.
Yeah.
And the rules are you put IDIG, so IDIG, the letters IDIG fit right in after the first one or two consonants of a word, unless the word starts with a vowel. And in that case, a word such as of is placed after the IDIG and it becomes IDIGOV.
Okay.
So, okay.
You could just use the regular words.
No, you can't. Not when you're speaking code. Let me play you this right now off my computer. So this is a video I found from like 2010. And listen to this kid speak in this gibberish language. Okay. So what he says is, hi and welcome to learn gibberish with Austin the Gibberer. Okay?
Oh,
okay, so listen to this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure in there he said something about Irma Gerd.
Bro, people understand this though. Like people understand this. Like there's so many videos on how to learn gibberish.
Play that again.
Okay. So in that sentence, he said, in this lesson, you will learn the basic formula to forming words in gibberish. But so this is the language that Claudia speaks on TikTok.
So play that kid again.
Okay, listen. Listen.
Now, to an untrained ear, gibberish sounds extremely complex.
Can I tell you exactly what that sounds like when I hear that kid saying all that stuff?
Yeah.
It legit made me think of this.
You think they're speaking Cotton Eye Joe?
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Jessica Alba was on Hot Ones, that show where they have celebrities eat hot wings.
I love it.
And I guess she was talking about in 98, she was a guest star, like had a small part, I guess, on Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay.
And you remember what 90210 was at that. Like the show was a monster, right?
Yeah.
And so she was talking about what it was like to work on set at the peak of 90210. Listen to this.
On the set of 90210, I couldn't even make eye contact with any of the cast members, which was really strange when you're like trying to do a scene with them.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, you're not allowed to make eye contact with any one of the cast members or you'll be thrown off the set.
Yo, she can't handle the wings.
I know. Wait a second. 98 sounds very late for 90210 because the height of 90210 was the early 90s, right?
So was that like at the time where the show was almost on its way out?
Yeah, I don't even know.
So they were all already like big stars.
I think that was the Valerie years. I don't even think Shannon Doherty was on 90210 in 98.
So she wasn't allowed to make eye contact with any of them.
Yeah, she was on 2 episodes in 98.
But who else? But who was the principal cast then? Because Shannon Doherty didn't make it to 1998.
I'm going to say that was around the time when the show was like pretty much done.
Yeah, that was season 8 of the show.
Oh boy! And how many seasons did it last?
Yeah, Shannon Doherty wasn't even on the show.
98?
Yeah,
because the show debuted in 1990.
Yeah,
and it went until 2000.
Jason Priestley, Jenny Garth, Ian Ziering, Brian Austin Green, Tori Spelling, Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yeah,
Hillary Swank was one of the that was that season. That was the Hillary Swank season.
She wasn't allowed to make eye contact with any of them.
No, Dylan wasn't even on the show in 98. He had already left. Yeah, Luke Perry wasn't even on the show then, right? No, he wasn't. Not in 98.
Season 8?
No. I don't think he was. I really don't. But anyway, so who's she talking about? Who do you think?
Kelly?
Brian Austin Green? Think she couldn't look him in the eye? Wasn't allowed to look at him? You know what I mean?
With bags?
Who was it?
Come on.
Who was it? Ian Ziering? It wasn't Jason Priestley.
Definitely
There's no way
not.
it was Jason Priestley.
Not our Jason Priestley.
I know. He's in town right now shooting a show. I'm not saying anything bad about Jason Priestley. I love that guy.
Who would it be?
He would know. God, I hope he's listening right now.
I'm going to say Kelly.
If somebody's working on Private Eyes, because I know they're shooting right now, ask Jason Priestley who was on the set that Jessica Alba wasn't allowed to look at.
Imagine he said it was him.
And then text us, please. And Jay, if it is you, text us, okay?
Yeah, please,
925-555. We just need to know.
You're right about Luke Perry. He left in 95.
You don't have to tell me I'm right, Maury. I know I'm right.
I thought you like hearing that you're right.
He also has access to IMDb, just like you.
At it right now.
God, man.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
We got a lot to talk to Jason Priestley about. He's on hold right now.
So the story came out last week, and we had said we wanted Jason to call in then, but he couldn't, so he's on with us right now. But Jessica Alba was on that show Hot Ones, where they make you eat hot wings and then like confess to things. And she told a story about how she was on 90210 as a guest star back in the day. And in 98, and she said that when she was on there, she wasn't allowed to look at the cast in the eye. Like it was one of those situations where you're not allowed to look at people.
And of course, 90210 celebrated a big anniversary on Sunday. Jason Priestley is currently filming Private Eyes Season 5 right now. Jason Priestley, welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show.
What's up, boys? How are you?
Doing great, man. How you doing? How's the family?
Everybody's good. Thanks, Mocha.
So what's going on? You're shooting right now. What's that like?
It's, there's a whole lot of new rules and protocols that we have to follow. It's different, but it's, there's a lot of things that are, at the end of the day, kind of the same, but there are just a lot more rules that we have to follow to keep everybody safe, basically.
So are you showing up every day on set for season 5 of Private Eyes? And are you getting tested? Like, does everybody have to get tested?
Well, we don't get tested every day. We have to, we get our temperature taken every day, obviously. And we have to fill out questionnaires, but we do get tested every week.
Oh, wow.
And it's, And, and as anyone who's taken the test before, it is a rather invasive test.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do to keep everybody safe, right? And it is what it is.
Everybody's just going crazy for new TV because right now it's either sports or reality shows.
Yeah.
And so once we all heard that you guys and other shows were starting to go back to work, like, can you feel that there's just this void of shows like Private Eyes?
Yes, I feel like I know myself that when I go on to Netflix, I'm scrolling through going, seen that. I'm dying for fresh content. So, I know that I'm sure that other people are as well.
30th anniversary of 90210 was on the 4th. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, that makes me feel old. I'm just going to come right out and say it.
Happy belated anniversary, by the way.
We did we all did a YouTube sort of podcast thing together, and we were all on it, and so I got to see everybody. So that was pretty cool to get to connect with everybody.
When was the last time, because I know you guys did the newer episodes, but when was the last time that you got a chance to sit around and just talk to that many people? Because it's just not a part of our lives anymore.
No, it's not. And the last time that we were all together was actually last summer when we were shooting that ill-fated, calamitous
Come
show.
on.
Oh, stop it, Jason.
Hey, did you see Jessica Alba when she was on that Hot Wings show? Hot Ones?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But of course, I've seen all the stuff that's been released about it.
Okay.
Don't look at the stars of the show was never an edict that came down on our show. I don't know who told Jessica Alba not to look at us. Like, look, none of us on that show we never thought we were MC Hammer. You know what
I mean? Great line, by the way. That's awesome. I love it.
So, but do you think, though, like, because I'm wondering, because you guys were so incredibly, wildly, like, famous, like, sneaking out of hotels and laundry bins and everything else. Do you think that people within your world did that preemptively because they thought that that's what you guys wanted?
There is a very slight possibility that someone, apparently somebody did, because they thought that maybe that was the thing to do. I don't know what Jessica Alba's experience was coming on our show as a guest star. I know that certainly, I never would have made her feel that way. Like I always went out of my way to make sure that our guest stars felt incredibly welcome, and I would always go and talk to them and, make sure that they knew that this was a place where we wanted them to succeed. And, because I knew that I'd been on enough sets as a guest star, and I always really appreciated it when the regulars on the show came and made me feel that way. So I always went out of my way back then, and I still do to this day. I make sure that the guest stars feel like they're a part of the show, and that's super important. So I don't know what happened to Jessica Alba when she was. I don't even know if I don't even think I worked with her. Like, she was in a storyline that I had nothing to do with. So I don't know what her experience was on the show, and I'm sorry that happened to her. But it seems really incongruous with everything else that happened on our show. So I don't know what her experience was.
So what you're saying, if I get this right, is that it was all Brian Austin Green.
Yeah, it must have been.
Jason Priestley, we love you so much. So season 5 of Private Eyes currently filming now, but season 4, when are we getting that debut?
Season 4 is whenever the fall season starts on Global, which should be any moment. We are going to be on the fall schedule. And we're going to be on right after Survivor, from what I understand.
Oh, sick.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which is super cool. We're very excited about our time slot. So everybody should just, check their fall schedule and we'll be on right after Survivor.
Oh, shoot, dude, I got to tell you, my wife is super excited about that Christmas movie that you have coming up. The one for on Lifetime. She loves all those Christmas movies,
God.
man. So it's you, Melissa Joan
God.
Hart, and Robin Givens, right?
That's right. And Ed Begley Jr. It's Dear Christmas, it's called. And it's going to be on the day after American Thanksgiving.
And just as fans of yours and fans of everybody else, cannot tell you how much we appreciate you providing the update that you did on Shannon Doherty. We've all been just so concerned and worried and everything else. So thank you so much for that.
No worries, buddy.
How's she doing?
You know what? I reached out to her on our 30th anniversary day, and I didn't hear back from her. So, but
Okay.
I assumed she's. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Jason Priestley, we always love that you make time for us on the Roz and Mocha Show. Thank you so much, brother.
No worries, guys. It's nice to talk to you as always.
Right on.
We'll chat soon. Take care.
All right, guys. See ya.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
If you were given the option to opt out of having the "Are you still watching?" thing pop up on your screen, would you? You know when Netflix thinks you fell asleep?
Yeah.
And they put that thing up on the screen that's like,
so
"Are
annoying.
you still watching?" And then
But
you have to hit,
you've been watching for a real long time before that pops up.
Let me tell you, man, I had that pop up before noon one day.
No.
Yeah.
How long were you watching?
Before noon one day, that popped up.
How long?
Don't even worry about how long. That's my business.
Yeah, but sometimes
my
it
business.
helps. It helps, though, if you've fallen asleep on the couch and you don't want to miss anything.
That's what I'm saying, Maury. So I would not opt out of that because it does nothing for me to click the button. I enjoy having that in my life.
I mean,
don't mind it.
First world problems. It's just a nuisance to go and hit the remote to hit the button that says continue.
Yeah, that's a nuisance, though. Is it though?
Like
is it
in
a
the
nuisance?
kitchen? Because we have in our house, we have Netflix on all day. We just have it like on kid shows, right?
Yeah.
So every now, it's not like my son is sitting in front of the TV, but it's just there for background noise.
Sure.
And if he walks by and he like watches a couple of minutes, then he goes and plays or we do other stuff, right?
Sure.
So if I notice that it's on that screen, are you still there? Are you still watching?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk, use my legs, and walk over and press
fair
the
enough.
button.
Hey, am I using Netflix wrong?
I'm going to say yes.
I need some help with this.
Sure.
Okay, because I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Maury, can you go find out for me how many movies are actually on Netflix?
How many?
Yeah. I'm not saying go count, but go and see if you can find a number from Netflix.
We'd like for you to count.
No, I don't need you. I'm not asking you to go count the movies on Netflix. Can you please just go find out how many movies Netflix claims are on there for me?
Why?
Because it's very important to me. I think I'm using Netflix wrong, or I don't know how to use Netflix right. Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
Okay.
Because I go on Netflix and I start looking for something. And I swear to God, every single night of my life, I see the same like 40 movies over and over and over again, regardless of what categories I go to. And then they just like even start repeating in rows. I'm like, I don't want to watch this movie that's in row 1. And then that same movie I don't want to watch is there again in row 5. And it seems like to me, the recommendations that they're giving to me just seem to get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? Where I know that Netflix has more movies than what I'm seeing.
But I think
so. How do I access? Like, why can't I just go to a section?
I've given you the solution to this a long time ago because you watch so much weirdo stuff on your Netflix that I'm sure that they now just cater everything that you've been watching to you with other titles that they are now recommending.
But even if I go to movies and then click on category, like comedy categories.
Sure.
There's still only 40 movies there.
Because they probably know that you're still going to divert to a category that you've already spent so much time, like all those prison shows that you watch.
But building a new profile is only going to work once. Because as soon as you use it once, it's going to start offering you up things.
So according to FoxBusiness.com.
How do I do this? Maury, did you find me a number?
Yeah,
What does Netflix say? How many? What's your number?
I see 2,300.
I see here, as of July 20th, FoxBusiness.com is reporting that Netflix has 3,781 movies.
I
was checking for Canada.
I'm telling you right now, I don't have access to 3,000 movies on my Netflix. No way do I have access to 3,000 movies on my Netflix. How do you do it? How do you look for a new movie?
Here's what I think you need to do.
What?
No, but search by title. Like,
No, I want to browse.
So just go to a category.
I do go to a category, and every single day it's the same 40 movies.
Hey, listen, you're getting real heated right now.
Listen.
Okay, you're not talking to the guy that invented Netflix.
I'm just... Okay, Don't do that to me, okay? Don't put me in that position. I'm looking for insight here. Okay,
but if you do keywords, like if you type in monkey.
But why? But I don't know that I want to watch something about a monkey. I just want to be inspired by a title or a box. Like, I just want to go and browse around the whole store to see what they have, right? I don't want somebody standing at the end of an aisle forcing me back down that same aisle again.
But what would you rather have? Just those ones that you keep seeing? Or do you actually want to sift through 3,000 movie titles?
I want to sift through 3,000 movie titles.
And then a month from now, you're going to come in and complain that there's too many titles to sift through.
No. What I want is when I click comedies, I want every single movie that is characterized as a comedy to be available on that screen. Every single one of them. That's called a comedy.
Texted and said you got to go into your settings, delete some of your history and some of your liked items.
I shouldn't have to do that. Why are you hiding movies from me? This is what I want to know.
Maybe because they know that you don't want to watch those ones.
No, I want to watch them all. I want to watch all 3,000 movies.
But are you still watching?
So upset right now.
Yeah. The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Did you watch Saturday Night Live on the weekend?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Like live you watched it?
No.
Oh.
I recorded it.
Oh.
Watched it yesterday.
What'd you think?
It was all right.
Yeah. So let's start with the monologue.
I didn't mind it at all.
And then we'll go back and we'll talk a bit about the cold open with Trump and Biden. What'd you think of Chris Rock? I love Chris Rock.
I'm a Chris Rock fan.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think it was a strong monologue, though, to be honest with you. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was mainly... I found that the entire thing was just mainly the main message is to get out there and vote.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
That was the motivation behind everything.
I think
was for people in the States, get out there and vote.
I think Trump getting COVID really threw it off a little bit because I don't know if he could go as vicious on Trump as he could. But this is a little bit of...
Here's the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we even get started, let's hey, the elephant in the room. President Trump's in the hospital from COVID, and I just want to say my heart goes out to COVID.
That was the most kind of like savage that he could go.
I know, and it's tough though because it's not like he has something that's unique to. Because Michael Moore really stepped in it over the weekend too, where he was like, I don't even know what he did. He tweeted out something about rooting for COVID or whatever it was. And the problem is that it's not only Trump that has COVID. It's like you put out that tweet or you say that joke, but other people's grandparents are dying of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's really like...
We're over 1 million people in the world who have died of COVID.
It's tough when you say, my heart goes out to COVID or I'm rooting for COVID, specifically for Trump, because regular people's parents are dying of COVID. Yeah. And so it's a tough...
It's not like a Donald Trump exclusive thing.
No, but his bit on voting on Tuesdays was really great.
We got to get out there. We got to vote. But they don't want us to vote. The government does not want you to vote. Why do I know they don't want you to vote? Because Election Day is a Tuesday in November. Why? Will anybody here ever put something on a Tuesday in November? Does anybody get married on a Tuesday in November? Church ain't on a Tuesday. Even Jesus avoids Tuesday. If this show was Tuesday Night Live, it would have got canceled in 1975.
I don't know, man. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked having
great.
Saturday Night Live back.
It did very well, too, because I don't think you're alone on that. I think that everybody's sick of reality television, and they were just dying for something new.
It was just nice to see them back on that set, to see the band playing, to see the skits happening, to even see... I was surprised. I had no idea that they were going to have, like, a studio audience
there. Yeah.
Right? Everyone was wearing masks. Chris Rock said that everyone was tested prior to showing up, to getting in there. So they were all still sitting shoulder to shoulder, but I had no idea that they were going to allow fans in
It was
there.
the best opening they've had in 4 years. The best season premiere.
They released the numbers already?
Yeah. It was the best season premiere in 4 years. What'd you think of Jim Carrey as Joe Biden?
I liked it.
You did, huh? See,
Yeah.
for me, I thought that it was Jim Carrey dressed up as Joe Biden, but he was still very much Jim Carrey.
Oh, for sure.
Where Alec Baldwin is like he transforms into Donald Trump.
I didn't mind it
but
at
to
all.
me, it was still Jim Carrey, which is wild to me because Jim Carrey can do characters.
Yeah.
But he was still just Jim Carrey, which I don't mind.
Now, Mr. Vice President, and only Mr. Vice President. Would you consider adding additional justices to the Supreme Court?
He won't even answer.
I just asked the question.
And he won't even answer it. Just like he won't answer about his son Hunter and Burisma and the mayor of Moscow and Obama was spying on me and he emailed Benghazi.
Mr. President, you're just listing terms you heard on Fox News. It sounds like you're saying the names of characters from season 4 of a show that no one has watched.
Sheriff of Portland.
Mr. Vice President, your turn.
Look, here's the deal.
Can I respond to that, Chris?
Will you just shut up, man?
Yeah, people love that line. I don't know. I'm glad SNL is back.
Yeah.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So Trump is back at home. Did you see this yesterday? Where he whipped off his mask like he was revealing himself.
Isn't he still contagious?
As Iron Man? Yeah.
So what's he doing? Flaunting around like he's the man.
He's delusional. So
symptoms of COVID.
They release him, and there's all sorts of videos, and I don't know whether he's
being reckless?
Pants were too tight or whatever, but there's videos of him standing there where it really looks like he's gasping for air. So
his lungs are full of COVID.
He whips his mask off like it's no big deal, and then releases this video.
I just left Walter Reed Medical Center. I learned so much about coronavirus, and one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We have the greatest country in the world. We're going back. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there. Be careful. Thank you very much. And Walter Reed, what a group of people. Thank you very much.
You didn't beat coronavirus.
No, you have it. Currently,
it's still in your system. Stop flexing, bro.
Oh, my God. And Claudia Conway, Kellyanne's daughter, who was blowing up TikTok, she was saying that Trump is not better and that they're just literally managing how horrible his symptoms actually are.
How could the doctors release him, though? Isn't there a protocol? He's got to stay confined?
Well, most of us don't have access to the space that Donald Trump does in the White House, where you can have full medical staff there and basically treat a room like it is a hospital. But it was all about the optics, in and out of the hospital in 2 days, whatever.
I'm a champion.
Yeah,
I am Iron Man.
And Kellyanne.
How's his wife doing, by the way?
Nobody knows.
We haven't heard anything at all.
Nobody knows.
About Melania since Thursday.
No, nobody knows.
Damn.
But Kellyanne Conway tweeted, because I guess her daughter was trending all day yesterday.
Again?
Yeah, she tweeted, "My daughter Claudia is beautiful and brilliant. She has access to top doctors and healthcare and lives comfortably. Like all of you, she speculates on social media, yet she's 15. You are adults. We have COVID, but it's clear who's really sick."
Ooh. Throwing that shade.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Damnit Maurie been working on a project in his ongoing series of QuaranTALES.
Oh, yeah, we got a new one of those today?
Chapter 6.
These are great.
Damnit Maurie will make cold calls, just randoms across the country, and start a story off and have them just continue.
Yeah, so you have no plan going in. Maurie just makes
up for the opening line.
The first couple lines of a story.
Yeah.
And then strangers have to continue it on.
Just fill in the blanks.
Now, do they know what each other has said before them or no? They do, yeah. So you got to read the whole thing. Oh, my God. Anyway, these are amazing. It's one of my favorite things to come out of COVID.
Hello? Hey, it's Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show, and I got to get you on Roz and Mocha's QuaranTALES.
I can't really hear you, bro. I'm at a dinner.
Oh. It'll only take a couple of minutes.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I'm good.
Starting off great.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You are the lucky caller because you are going to start off Chapter 6 of Roz and Mocha's QuaranTALES.
Okay.
First, let me begin. The chicken was left on the counter unwrapped.
But he saw it. I always wrap my chicken. And as he inched closer to his bare meat, he realized all the seasoning was gone. And that's when he pulled out his phone, and this CSI, the chicken scene investigation, began with a call to his next-door neighbor.
The neighbor came to investigate, and we found tiny, minuscule footprints with a trail of seasoning leading up the stairs to the attic.
We follow the footsteps up the stairs and stop next to the youngest child's bedroom door. We hear some animated chatter behind the threshold, and the CSI turns to whisper to us, the culprits are still in the house.
Oh, God.
The neighbor quickly opens the door, startling the little boy who is talking to several small dog figurines that somehow came to life and were shaking seasoning out of their fur.
That's disgusting.
Hello? It's Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show, and I've got to get you to add the next 3 lines for Roz and Mocha's QuaranTALES.
Yes, bro. Let's do this. I love telling stories.
3, 2, and 1. Go ahead.
The young boy then looked at both men and said, "Take as much as you need. The big dog there has the most flavor. But the little dog there, the one in the corner that has not yet come to life, is the most dangerous. I don't believe either one of you are ready to reap the reward."
The 2 men stood frozen in the doorway, looking at each other in disbelief. They asked the small boy, "Why is the small dog so dangerous?" "Because he bears the most knowledge." "Are you worthy of this?" he asks.
Damn.
Before the men could answer, the army of dogs sprung to life, charging straight towards them. The men sprinted out of the room and bounded down the stairs. But although they were running for their lives, they stopped dead in their tracks in complete horror at what was waiting for them at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, this story's so good.
Well,
Hey, how are you?
good.
It's Maury with the Roz and Mocha Show, and I'm going to get you to end our story on Roz and Mocha's QuaranTALES.
Can I start the story?
No, it's been started. You're going to end it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, anytime. Go ahead.
A sweatshop of chicken is just down there churning out dog figurines, and there's like a chicken wizard in the corner, and he's just blessing these dog figurines into mortality, and then over them, taskmasters, human taskmasters, and they're just throwing seasoning all over the chickens to remind them that they're chickens and they can just be lunch at any time. So the CSI guys arrest all of the taskmasters and set the chickens free. And I got to tell you, big mistake, because then the chickens start running around and they're just free now, and they start pecking at every human as revenge and just ripping them limb from limb, and they're like,
damn.
"No wings," and then laughing, weird chicken laughs, I guess, and it's just mayhem and chaos.
Oh, best ending ever.
Wow.
Do.
Okay, have a great day. Do awesome things.
Wow. Took a turn, huh?
So there you go. That was Chapter 6 in Roz and Mocha's QuaranTALES.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So a lot of rumors around the MCU and Kevin Feige. Or Feige? What did he say his name?
I think it's Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige. He's the head of MCU, Marvel. And one of the stories is that they want Ryan Reynolds to sign a massive multi-project deal, which would be bigger than any other deal that anybody's had so far within the MCU.
Wow.
So
wow.
Think about how big of like Downey Jr.'s deal was.
But
So they
his deal, Deadpool is still, yes, he's MCU, like he's Marvel, but he's never been included in any of the traditional MCU that we know.
No, and then there's all these weird rumors swirling around about Kevin Feige wanting to build a multiverse. So we talked about this last week with Spider-Man, where they want to apparently have Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire all in one movie as Spider-Man from a multiverse.
I'm down.
And then you get to Doctor Strange, and the rumor is that Emily Blunt is in talks to, or Kevin Feige wants Emily Blunt to play Black Widow. So the Black Widow movie with Scarlett Johansson isn't even out yet, which is a prequel to one of her story. But they want Emily Blunt to play Black Widow. And the reasoning for this, according to a YouTuber named Grace Randolph, and a lot of other people picked it up, that Emily Blunt was the original first choice to play Black Widow.
Oh,
and then she had to turn it down because of a contract that she had to do something else at the time. And then Scarlett Johansson came in. And what they're now saying is that Kevin Feige is interested in going back to other people who were top choices or second choices to play some of the roles in the multiverse, meaning, take this for what it is. Okay, it's a YouTuber. I just want to get your opinion on it. I'm not saying it's fact. I just want to get your opinion. So that would mean things like Emily Blunt would come on and play a version of Black Widow in a multiverse. It also means that somebody like Tom Cruise could come in and do his version of Iron Man in a multiverse. John Krasinski, who was apparently auditioned for Captain America, could be a Captain America in a multiverse. Are you interested in that or no?
Jim Halpert as Captain America?
Yeah. Are you interested in that or no?
Absolutely.
You are.
I'm down. I'm down for all of this.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of multiverse stuff.
So,
Absolutely.
Because we know Doctor Strange is called In the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
So they've already decided that this is going to be the plot point for Doctor Strange 2. But do you want to have other actors playing characters that we've only just recently said goodbye to?
Yes.
You do?
I'm ready for it.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, man.
Bring it on.
Okay.
Here we go.
The Roz and Mocha Show
Podcast.
Did you hear these unreleased Mariah songs?
No.
It's all, everything. Just so much Mariah stuff over the weekend. I saw her book in like 3 stores I was in. Not that I was out gallivanting around.
I was going to say, where were you?
I had to pick up some essentials. Grocery
What,
stores.
books?
No, because some grocery stores have like a little book section in them.
Oh.
And then some drugstores have like a little book section in them. Right, yeah, it's in all those.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
like I'm not,
Were there like hundreds of fans all clamoring for the book?
Stop. Don't be such a troll. You're only a troll because you know that Maury's a huge Mariah fan.
Well, I'm asking.
You do that for nobody else's benefit but that. Like, no, like it serves no other purpose.
You're saying it
serves no other purpose other than to troll Maury.
That you saw the book everywhere, so I just assumed that there would be fans out.
No, you only do this, Maury. Come in here. When you're sitting on your duff in there. Your microphone's even on. The red light's been on since I brought up Mariah Carey. I said Mariah Carey and your microphone went on.
Yeah, but my dad always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
And so now you're taking that advice.
One of our books actually finally came in.
Yeah. Have you read it yet?
Matthew's reading it right now.
Why aren't you reading it?
Because there's one copy. Mine hasn't shown up yet.
But why don't you just read it when he's not reading it?
Oh, he said don't touch.
Oh, that's so weird.
Damn.
Way to save on money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
big time.
it's so weird. So weird. Anyway, so I guess where are these songs from, Maura?
So she released a double CD over the weekend called Rarities, like songs. Some are B-sides, but some are a couple that we've never heard before.
And so these are 2 that you've never heard, correct?
And they're like, oh, you got to hear these.
Okay, so this one is Here We Go Around Again from 1990.
Why I can't get over you.
Sounds very 1990s.
Oh, yeah, very.
You push me to the side, but I come running.
All right. Might be a reason we never heard this one.
It's very like...
It's not much to it.
No, it's very doctor's office.
Yeah. All right. And now from 1993, oh God, 1993, All I Live For. Sounds very much like 1993.
Yeah, big time.
And I would never let you down.
It's like when Luther Vandross would try to do an up-tempo pop song.
Yes.
It would sound exactly like this.
Exactly.
No, I would never play.
I don't know. What do you think of that?
I think my mom would like it.
Yeah.
That's not what I thought you'd say.
Oh, what do you think I would say?
I thought you were going to be like, oh my God, these are so good.
No, you didn't, Maury.
Yeah, I think my mom.
He was going to like these? I did.
No, you didn't.
Like my aunt would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it sound like Mariah?
Oh, yeah.
To me, it doesn't sound like Mariah.
The first one, not this one.
This one doesn't at all.
No. And this one has that 90s guitar thing where it goes, woo.
Yeah, she's just not giving it her all.
No, like to me, she's not wailing, right? And that's what you...
These are like...
Especially 1993 Mariah.
Yeah, for me, these are like practice songs before she really started to sing her heart out for the tracks that made the album.
I guess.
Say what you will. It's the #1 album right now.
Yeah. Well, I will say what I will. These two songs aren't great.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
Update.
Oh, man. Alana, welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show. We have been waiting an entire week to talk to you about your situation.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so you had a situation that I think a lot of people have been in over the last little while, which is you had your fiance's sister's wedding had been postponed from April until this month. And you guys had confirmed, but then you started feeling like maybe it's not the best idea because of health reasons. And it's going to be a lot of people, and COVID is crazy, and there's going to be a lot of picture taking and no masks. And maybe some of the people that were going to the wedding were a little less strict about precautions, and that worried you, and you wondered if you could back out. And we had said that you were probably worried about looking like a bad person or an ungrateful person, and you didn't want to rock the boat, and you wanted to be agreeable. And we had said just allow them to be pissed off because they're going to be pissed off. And you can, if you're making a decision based on your health and your own well-being, it's never the wrong decision. So what did you decide?
So we tried talking to his parents, explaining the situation and our feelings, and they got rather upset.
Wow.
Wow. So they talked about how we would feel if maybe them or his sister didn't attend our wedding next year. How would that make us feel? Talked about the opportunities of maybe not contributing financially to our wedding, which we'd be okay with.
So they threatened to pull money from your wedding?
Yep. And then the last thing, which made us decide to go, is they played the cancer card. So my mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law, had recently just beat cancer. So they talked about how life is too short and we should cherish every moment together, and this could be our last wedding, et cetera, et cetera. So we ended up going.
But the thing is...
Oh, my God.
How ironic is it, though, that they're saying life is too short, but look at the world that we're living in right now. That could be, that could not be more true. And you and your fiance originally deciding not to go to this wedding is for your health because, yes, life is too short and you're trying to preserve that life.
Why would anyone allow a family member who just beat cancer to go to a wedding? Everybody in that wedding party should have said, hey, listen, Ma, we love you, but you're not coming.
I know.
That is so crazy to me.
Did nobody say that?
Not that I know of. I think she wanted to be there. It's her
Doesn't
baby
matter.
girl, right?
Doesn't matter. Then you don't do the wedding then if it's that important.
One thing that I don't understand, right? Or that I'm trying to figure out what people out there don't understand is that this is not supposed to be a normal year. We know this year is already messed up. It's been messed up for 6 months. We're not supposed to be having the weddings that we picture in our minds. We're not supposed to be celebrating the birthdays the way we want. We're not supposed to be getting together with people the way we would pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this situation at the exact same time, experiencing the exact same thing, which is so messed up. So nothing is supposed to be normal anymore, and we all just gotta figure out a way to get through it in the best and safest way possible.
Exactly. And I can't fault them for wanting to get married. I do understand that as someone who is also planning their wedding. I totally get that. But I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a church ceremony of upwards of 90 people at the church, and the reception was 52, like max capacity indoor banquet center. I feel like that in itself was a risk. So the church actually it threw me. There were so many red flags at the church. I almost got up and left.
Wow.
Like they had pews blocked off, which was nice, and hand sanitizer available, but the priest, the bride, the groom, the maid of honor, best man, none of them wore masks, no matter how close they were to each other. The priest was touching the happy couple. They shared a chalice. Like the priest drank from a chalice.
No.
Gave it to the bride. The bride drank from it. Then the groom drank from it. And then the priest finished it. For communion, he touched every Eucharist and dropped it into people's hands. They came up for blessings. Less than 6 feet apart. No mask.
Did you do any of that? You didn't do any of
No.
that? No.
No, I did not. No, and my spouse, he didn't either.
Alana, what about, picture taking? Because, traditionally at weddings, you do the big family photo, or the groom will take photos with his groomsmen, the bride will take photos with her bridesmaids, and then they all get together and big family photos. What happened with that?
So we were fortunate enough because the ceremony and the reception were on 2 separate days.
Yeah.
So we actually did photos for 3.5 hours after the ceremony.
Oh my God.
And at 2 different locations. And the photographer kept telling us to lean into each other, touch your heads together.
Oh, no!
Turn to the person beside you and laugh. Like, I'm not going to open my mouth to someone who has their mouth open.
God.
And nobody was wearing masks, right?
No one was wearing masks.
So is anybody that attended the wedding, anybody else share the same concerns as you?
Yes, there was a bridesmaid, one of the family cousins that was super worried and kept her distance as best as possible. We talked about our fears, and we kind of allied together, which was nice to have her there to make me feel like I'm not just the only crazy one.
So do you think, Alana, you and your fiance are going to get tested now, just in case?
Yeah, we went yesterday, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we waited 5.5 hours.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Alana, I am so sorry. Actually, we are both so sorry that you had to go through all that and had
All
the
good.
guilt trip and everything. That's just so bad. Everything that could possibly go wrong in that situation could possibly go wrong because of that situation.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that no one does get sick.
Is anybody else going to get tested, you think?
And those cousins that I talked about, they're on the fence, so we've been kind of keeping in touch. So depending on my test results, they might go get tested or not. But it's been a wild ride, but we're just happy it's over.
Damn. Well, thanks for the update, Alana.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. Always a big fan.
We may have to do another update with you and find out what your test results were.
Yeah.
Call us back.
I'd always love to talk to you.
And call us back and let us know if anybody does test positive. Not that we want to celebrate that at all, but let us know. Let us know, because I think it's a good lesson for everybody.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Much love, Alana. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Love you guys.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life
on Kiss.
Hey, let me read you this Chris Pratt story, and you tell me if it's in poor taste.
Okay.
So, Chris Pratt put out a post talking about the animated movie Onward, which is up for Best Family Drama at this year's People's Choice Awards. And oftentimes you get stars campaigning for their own movie because it is the People's Choice, so it's all based on votes from fans, right?
Okay.
So people tend to have a lot of fun with it. So you tell me, because he was getting thrashed for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like Chris Pratt.
Okay, so Chris Pratt said this: with all that's going on in the world, it is more important than ever that you vote. Just ask any celebrity. They'll tell you every day, several times a day, to vote. But me, I will tell you exactly who to vote for. Onward. The heroes before us did not spill their blood only to have their sacrifices wasted on your apathy. The upcoming 2020 People's Choice Awards is the most consequential vote in the history of mankind times a million infinity. Vote for Onward for Family Movie of the Year, or else you will die. No hyperbole. Click on the link in my bio. Let your voice be heard.
No, but that's just Chris Pratt, his sarcastic kind of nature. I don't find, people were ripping him apart.
Yeah, they're ripping him apart because they say that, this is the most important vote. The presidential vote it actually is the most important vote in history. And he said, vote or you will die. And people were like, well, people are dying. And they just went in. I just take
that as
they
his comedic kind of sarcasm.
Yes. They think he went too far, though.
Oh.
They think he went way too far.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hey, are you interested in the fact that we talked about this years ago when it first came out, which is that remember that guy who tried to sue Led Zeppelin because he said that they stole Stairway to Heaven from him? And the guy's name...
Is that still going on?
Well, it's just finally finished. The guy's name was Randy California.
Oh, stop it.
And his representative was Michael Skidmore.
Come on. Wait, what was it from The Office?
Robert California.
Robert California,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
This is
finally...
his brother, Randy?
It's finally over. And I remember at the time you had said that it was a straight ripoff.
Okay.
But now the Supreme Court has decided to not hear the case after two other courts had one suspended it and then it was brought back on appeals. But now it seems like it's over. So it was a band called Spirit from 1968, and they did a song called Randy California did a song called Taurus. And so let's play Led Zeppelin first, okay? So we'll play. Everybody knows Stairway to Heaven. I feel like I'm going to slow dance with you right now. Is that what you're supposed to do?
What'd you say?
This was always the end of something whenever they played this at a high school dance. It was always the end of the dance. And if you weren't dancing with somebody, it wasn't going to happen for you that night.
And this is a 7-minute song too, right?
Tell me about it. And then it gets real fast too, and you're like, how do you slow dance to the fast parts?
No, that's where you kiss.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
that's Stairway to Heaven. So now this is Randy California from Spirit doing their song Taurus.
Oh yeah, that's the same.
It's the same.
It's the exact same.
Yeah. So, but not according to 3 judges. It's not.
No, those are Zeppelin fans, though.
I know,
Come
right?
on. You know those are Zeppelin fans.
3 judges. You look at the age of judges. You tell me that there's not. You're not going to get at least 2 out of those 3 judges as huge Zeppelin fans.
Yeah, those 2 are like, yo, we got like crazy high to that song so many times. There's no way. There's no way. Come on, man. That is an exact ripoff.
But they had to sort of try and prove, like, how would they have heard it? And then this guy said that he actually used to hang with the guys from Led Zeppelin, and that he actually played it for
Randy California. Guys, don't you remember? We partied together.
Yeah.
We used to hang out in dressing rooms. Every now and then I'd pick up a guitar and we'd just start riffing.
We just start riffing, man. I know.
We just start jamming. That's probably where you heard the tune because I played you this song.
Anyway, no justice for the late Randy California, as per his representative Michael Skidmore, in the case of ripping off Stairway to Heaven.
Oh man!
Yeah, the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
There's a guy in Texas who worked for the library out there, who's just arrested. Over the course of 12 years, he stole at least $1.3 million worth of printer toner.
Oh, my God.
I think we've all taken stuff from work, right? Like, you may take a
lot, though.
You may take a pen, maybe a pad of paper.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Stapler,
I know.
scissors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A ruler. Markers.
Yes.
These are all things that we've typically taken home from work. But between 2007 and last year, he bought $1.5 million worth of toner for the library, which really only needed about 150 grand worth
Isn't
of
that
toner.
Crazy.
And what he did was take the boxes of toner out with him and just told people that he's taking them to other branches, other libraries. But he was just taking them home to then flip online and just sell to other people.
Oh, my God.
He also used the library's credit cards to buy himself at least 18 grand worth of electronics, including video games, a drone, and a Roomba.
What? Come on, man.
So the city ended up doing like an audit and investigation, and then he was arrested for theft just a few weeks ago. And in doing all of that, they also found out that he has 5 previous arrests for theft and burglary in the 80s and the 90s.
Jeez. Printer ink, there was that story years ago where they did a list of the most expensive liquids in the world. Do you remember that? And,
No.
and printer ink was like easily top 5.
Really?
Yeah, because I think that it worked out to like, something like nail polish was like $500 a liter, and printer ink worked out to like almost $2,000 a liter.
What?
Yeah,
$2,000?
Yeah. So that's why, like, printer. I used to have a printer. There was remember CompuCenter?
Yeah.
When there was the stores called CompuCenters,
Okay.
right before the Mac store. We all used to go to CompuCenter when everybody needed new stuff. And there was a cheap printer that they used to sell at CompuCenter for $60,
Okay.
right? And it did the job, no problem.
Yeah.
And I would go and buy this printer at CompuCenter, and when it ran out of ink,
Yeah.
I would not buy replacement cartridges for it. I would just go back to CompuCenter and buy a new printer, because it was cheaper for me to buy a new printer for $60 than it was to replace the ink cartridges in the one that I already had.
So what'd you do with your old printer?
Recycled it.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, we weren't that concerned about our footprint in the late 90s, okay? Like we are now. I'm just saying.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Yo, is this Hit?
Yeah, that's me.
What up? Yo, why do they call you Hit?
Well, my name is Siddharth, and every time I go anywhere, like since in middle school and high school, teachers can never pronounce my name.
Yeah.
So all my friends, they just started calling me Hit.
Cool, man. We'll roll with that. I like a cool nickname. Hit,
Yeah.
you wrote us this. Roz and Mocha, please fix my life. I have a friend who loves to play the victim card all the time. One time when he was let go from a job, he would complain about his boss wasn't treating him right, but he wouldn't accept his own wrongdoings. I've tried to tell him so many times, but he just gets angry and says it's not his fault. He's like a brother to me and has been there for so many difficult times in my life, and I just want to see him do well.
Damn.
So when you say he's playing the victim, you're not talking like he's not an actual victim, right?
No.
Just everything's like not my fault, not my fault.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how many times do you have to have these conversations with them?
Oh man, all the time. Like it's to the point now where like we have like a group of friends, and like they don't talk to him. They'll talk to me, and they'll talk to one another, but they won't talk to him because like they just get annoyed of his. Just keeps on saying the same thing over and over again.
So in those situations, like what is he saying over and over and over again? If it's just sort of in the company of friends, what is he saying that turns so many people off wanting to hang out with him?
Well, first he'll complain that, hey, this is happening, right? Like, for example, he's had so many jobs where, like, he's like, gone fired or he's quit on bad terms, right? He doesn't get along with his bosses, doesn't get along with his coworkers, and he's always complaining about that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we'll be like, hey, but, you know, have you ever, like, thought of the fact that it could be your fault? Because it hasn't happened once, it's happened many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you tell him that, he'll be like, yeah, but this happened to me, and then this happened, they don't treat me right, kind of thing, right? So, and then everyone's like, yeah, it's the same thing all the time. So you just kind of, like, break it off with him, you know?
Have you ever said to him, like, we've had this conversation
all the time.
many times, like, we can't talk about this anymore?
Yeah, all the time.
But he keeps bringing it up?
Exactly, right? And like, that's the thing, right? Like, I know this guy since I was like 5 years old, right? And like, we go way back, right? So I don't want to lose him as a friend. He's like a brother to me. See, here's the thing, right? Like, he used to work at like a data entry company while we were in school.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he wouldn't get along with anyone, right? He would listen to music on a Bluetooth speaker in front of the whole floor, and they would all hear it. They would complain and stuff like that, right? And I told him, like, listen, why would you listen to music in front of everyone like that? Like, bring headphones or something, right? Like, don't listen to it on Bluetooth speaker. He's like, yeah, but he's like, some people like it. I'm like, okay, but you know, it's setting off the wrong impression.
He sounds like, and I've known people like this before, which is a couple of different things. One, he doesn't sound like he's very self-aware. Meaning he doesn't understand how people perceive him in the environment when he's in it.
I agree 1,000%.
Which is a tough thing to let somebody know. You know, you don't want to say, hey, just so you know, when you say stuff like that, like everybody just sort of like you just turn everybody off because nobody wants to hang with a guy like that. So, but he'll just sort of say stuff, but he won't recognize the sort of reaction to his own behavior. And oftentimes when people are like sort of playing the victim card, it's like they do it to either like get attention or they avoid responsibility. I would say that there's a couple of things that you can do if you, because he sounds like he's a great friend of yours. One exercise thing that you can do with him is get him to play out how the situation could have been different. Right? So if he's losing a job or if he is playing music on a Bluetooth speaker at work and gets in trouble for it, right? So if he's the victim in all of this, how would things have had to play out differently for him to not feel like the victim? Like what would need to have happened? And then you can sort of walk him through things that he could have done differently in that situation as opposed to what everybody else could have done differently in that situation. And then I think that something else is really important when you have somebody who is stuck in this sort of repetitive cycle over and over and over again, where they always come out, you know, on the bottom, is to gently articulate to them that they are not as unique as they might feel, and that these are very common situations that most people deal with on a daily basis, and we just have the tools to do it. And maybe he doesn't have the tools to do it, but what he's dealing with is not unique to him. It's actually quite universal, and that, you know, empathy may be the best way to go with this, where instead of saying, oh my God, guys, you're never going to believe what happened to me, meanwhile everybody at the bar is like, that's happened to me like 7 times, man. But you just move on. So I think that you need to sort of let him feel that he's not alone. That might help a little bit.
And that's something that like we've told him too, right? Like, hey, you could come talk to us and stuff, right? Like, you're not alone. You could always like come and share things, right? But at the same time, right? Like you got to understand that like, if something bad happens, you gotta figure out where you went wrong, right? Rather than where others went wrong. And ultimately that's going to help you grow as a person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what? I'm definitely going to like talk to him about like situations that have happened in the past and like, you know, think about what could have happened differently to where you wouldn't feel like the victim kind of thing, right? So
that's, I think, one of the best ways to get somebody to take responsibility, because in talking things through, like sitting down and be like, okay, let's play this out where it came out a different way. What happens? Describe to me that world or that situation where you feel the way that you want to feel at the end of all this. And oftentimes they're going to put themselves in a position of where their behavior is also a factor, and it's not just the people. It's not just the people around them.
For sure.
There you go, brother. Thank you so much.
No worries. Are you guys going to ask me the question?
I love it. I have a feeling this whole situation was all made up just so that Hit could get us to ask him.
I actually have a friend. His name is Arjun. 100%. No.
Okay, Hit, between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Roz.
Thank you. Don't ask why. I don't want to know why.
No. You know what? I just paused because I wanted to wait to see if Hit was going to follow up by saying Roz because, and then it would have been like a troll job answer.
Well, I like Roz because he gives the best advice, and he's also a smooth, cool dude.
There it is.
You're such a jerk.
Love you, Hit. Later, bro.
All right, later, guys.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life
on Kiss.
One of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow is Kids Write Jokes.
So explain this to people one more time, please, because what you're about to read are going to be wildly not funny.
No, not at all. They are jokes simply written by kids. This guy that runs this account accepts jokes that are written by kids and posts them the way they are written, with the poor grammar, the poor spelling, the just
punchlines.
Terrible punchline.
Yes.
So we're going to go through a bunch of these right now.
Okay.
What did one lawyer say to the other lawyer?
Oh, God. What?
We're lawyers. What do you call a chicken with no legs?
What?
Eggs, no legs.
Okay, thanks.
You don't know your bread roll until you've smoked it like a baby.
I don't know what that means, man.
Do you like ice cream?
Yes.
Then maybe you should marry it.
Oh.
Doctor, there's a waitress in my soup. What did the banana say to the other banana?
What?
Have you got a potty? Because I need to pee desperately. Please. No, because we are at the beach. We will need to go home by a banana taxi. We do not have a car.
Wow. There's a lot going on there, and yet no punchline.
No. How long is this flight? Like 6 hours? 6 hours? We might as well go to China. We can't go to China. Why not? Because I don't speak Spanish. Why did the man not like coffee?
Why?
Because he wanted a salad. A giraffe walks into a bar and the barman says, "Hey, why the long neck?"
That's not even the joke. That's not even the joke.
I know, but that's why these are so bad, because they're jokes written by kids. What did the mustard say to the ketchup?
What?
Go away, I'm trying to sleep. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Spider.
Spider who?
Aren't you glad I didn't say Charlotte? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nobody. They had to go to a meeting. I got one more. Knock, knock. Rock and roll. Where's my chair? Kids write jokes, everybody.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Yo, you got a fly on your head.
Shut up.
Looks like one of those Salt Lake City flies.
Will you shut up, man? Sorry, wrong debate. It's interesting, though.
Roz, I am speaking here.
I know. I get the sense that nobody actually wants a debate because everybody's mind is already made up. These debates are, they're theatrics at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
And nobody actually wants, I know after Trump and Biden went at each other in that disaster, everybody was complaining how just unprofessional, unpresidential, undemocratic, un-American that whole thing was. And that you got the sense that people wanted to actually hear ideas and concepts and platforms, but they don't. They want the chaos. That's why today, after last night's debate, nobody's talking about any of the substance of the debate. The only thing people are talking about are the fly and Mike Pence's weird bloodshot eye. Because that's all they care about. That's all they care. They don't care about anything else.
No, they want the chaos.
And they never did care about anything else.
They just want the chaos, the madness.
Absolutely. They just want chaos.
Mr. Vice President, I am speaking. Yo, shut that down quick.
Well, I mean, we saw enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Ooh.
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth.
Yo, he was so shit.
Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's so wild. It's so they want chaos. That's what they want. They don't want. And also, why do the VPs have to sit when the presidential candidates get to stand? Like, it was weird.
Yeah, it seems kind of lazy to me.
Yeah, because they've done this before. The VP candidates sit for their debate while the presidential candidates.
Like we know, we all know you're second in command.
Yeah, it's weird. Take a seat.
Yeah.
But I want to stand. No, take a seat.
No, but you're second in command. You don't get to stand just yet.
Yeah, and it's wild, too, because you should be paying a little bit more attention. Everybody should to Kamala Harris, because most likely, if Biden wins, he's going to be a one-term president. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not going to continue on. He'll be 4 years and out. So she will run in 4 years. Like, you better pay attention to what's going on there.
Yeah.
But Jeff Goldblum started trending immediately.
Why?
Because everybody's like, if Lorne Michaels doesn't get Jeff Goldblum to play the Fly.
Oh, right.
During the cold open on Saturday Night Live.
If you don't know what we're talking about, do your research.
Yeah, so Jeff Goldblum years ago did a remake of a movie called The Fly. This one was David Cronenberg, and it was absolutely wild. Yeah. Like this, he was a scientist that wanted to turn himself. He was trying to he was working on teleportation, right? Transferring himself from one pod to the next pod, and Andy McDowell's in it, I believe. And he was doing his tests of going into one pod, and then the pod technology would break every molecule of your being down and transfer it into another pod. But on his last test, there was a fly that got into the pod with him, and it teleported him, and it worked, but it like weaved the fly's DNA with his DNA when they rebuilt him, so he slowly started to turn into a fly.
Gross.
And the movie's horrific. And so everybody is like, oh my God, if they don't get Jeff Goldblum to play the Fly on Saturday Night Live, everything's failed. But the problem with that is Jeff Goldblum's shooting Jurassic World right now in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And that set just got shut down for 2 weeks because somebody tested positive.
So they have zero access
There's
home.
no way Jeff Goldblum is going to be able to fly from the UK to New York, quarantine for long enough to be able to sit on...
Why don't you just use one of the teleport machines that he was developing in the movie?
Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Jeff Goldblum sitting on Jim Carrey's head. I would love to see that.
That'd be amazing.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So this is going to be the perfect Thanksgiving long weekend.
That we're not allowed to do anything with.
That we're not allowed to do anything with. We're not allowed to have family members from outside of our own household get together.
No.
But Roz.
Yeah.
So I can't have you and your family who are in one bubble at my house over the weekend.
No.
But what we are allowed to do, which is so weird, is we can get, let's say, if me, you, Jen, and Catherine wanted to get together, we can still go to like a restaurant with our kids.
Yes,
and that's 6 of us. Because the rule is in restaurant dining, a max of 6 people.
Yes.
So we could essentially get our families together in a restaurant.
We could.
No problem.
0.
But we can't get together at each other's houses.
No.
For Thanksgiving.
No.
How ridiculous is that?
It's very ridiculous. Nothing makes sense.
Like, I don't get it.
Nothing makes sense. I watched a video yesterday. I don't remember who posted it. It was in the UK where it was a funeral, and there was like, I don't even know, maybe 12 people in this room, and it was an older lady it was a funeral for her husband, and everybody's chairs were like 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And her 2 grown sons were sort of on either side of her, and their chairs were 6 feet apart. And somebody was at the front reading the eulogy for the guy that died. And the old lady, the mom, was crying alone, sitting there. And then her 2 grown sons grabbed their chairs and they moved them and they go and put them beside the mom. And somebody who works at the funeral home in the middle of the eulogy walks up and goes, no, you've been told, and tells everybody to separate, right?
F you.
Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't sit beside your
grieving mother.
Your grieving mother in a funeral home, but you can take the bus together and sit right beside her on the bus. And then after the funeral, you could go to Red Lobster and sit in a booth right beside her. But in a funeral home, you're not allowed you have to be 6 feet apart. Like, the rules are so whack right now.
It's archaic.
Everything is so wild. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nothing makes sense. It's so crazy. Like you said, like...
We can go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Our 2 families.
Yeah.
You can't come over to my house.
No.
So should I make a reservation for 6?
Please, yeah, why not?
Yeah. The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Mayor John Tory, welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show.
I'm glad to be here with you guys. How are you doing?
Good.
So hold on a second. No zingers for Roz?
No roast to me today.
Normally you open up with a line.
Yeah, I'm giving him the day off because, like the poor fellow, I mean, people are on his case all the time, and rightly so.
Wow.
There it is. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so before we got a lot to talk about, but the big question in my house, and I'm sure a lot of other people's houses, is what right now is the status of your recommendation for how we all handle Halloween?
Well, we haven't done it yet, and we were sort of focused on, first of all, getting kids back to school safely, which is a big challenge, and I think that's, a work in progress. Secondly, we're focused on Thanksgiving, and there, I just hate to tell you, because I had a lot of people asking me on the weekend. I was out at 2 or 3 food bank events, and we opened a new accessible subway station at Chester and so on. And they said, is it really the case that you're saying if I have a son, for example, or daughter who's at Queens in one of those awful houses people live in down there, and they have to stay there for the weekend by themselves? And we're saying, unfortunately, yes, because if people want to follow the rules and limit the risks to themselves, if you come home from school, for example, you're bringing with you whatever you might have brought from the people you've been with down there. You're bringing it into a house where your grandmother might be there. And so we're saying to people, hang out with the people that you live under the same roof with, period. That's the advice.
Oh, wow.
On how well, that's what we're saying. And look, when I say we, I mean, it's the medical experts that are telling me that, and I accept their advice because I don't think we want to go down the road of what we've seen, say, in the U.S., where politicians start substituting their judgment for that of the experts. I ask a lot of questions about the advice. I try to suggest some alternatives sometimes, but in the end, I accept the advice. That's why we have the experts. So, in fairness to them, I've told them we need to have some word on Halloween, by kind of this week. And I guess it could be don't do it at all. Yeah. It could be do it on modified terms, or it could be business as usual. I expect the latter. The third of those is not the option. But we're going to have to work on whether it should happen at all. And I promise we'll have some word on that very soon.
Okay. So, Mayor Tory, in terms of Thanksgiving then, like if I have my family bubble under my roof, and like, let's say my parents and sisters who are in another, like their own bubble under their roof, well, we can't have them over? Like provide, like if I know that they're being safe, just as safe as we are?
Frankly, nobody's put as fine a point on it as they should have in the context of simple communication to people, because people are confused about this, and I understand why. Yeah. But essentially, we're saying this whole bubble concept outside of your own home is to be put to one side for now. We're saying the people you live under the same roof with, so therefore you're sharing your germs with them every day anyway, that those are the people you should have Thanksgiving with, and that the other people who might have been in your broader circle of 10 living in another house and maybe very close relatives, they should have Thanksgiving on their own, not with you, and that you maybe Zoom or do something on FaceTime. But look, and it sounds like harsh medicine, but it's not that different than what we said back at Easter and Passover and Eid time in the spring. It's stick to yourself because that's going to be the best way not to transmit this virus.
When it comes to Toronto, it seemed like up until very recently that the federal level, the city level, and the provincial level were all going in the same direction. It doesn't seem like that anymore.
I know it doesn't seem that way, but it still is. And I will just tell you that what happened, say, with the indoor dining thing that you may be alluding to, for example, where the city's medical officer of health is suggesting we should not have indoor dining for a pause of, say, 28 days. And that is something that she and we all agonized over because we know that, the restaurants are hurting as it is. But it is something where we had to ask the province to bring that in because we don't have the independent authority. Our medical officer of health doesn't, and she's quite independent, by the way, of politicians, including me. But we are working very collaboratively together. I spoke to the Prime Minister yesterday at length about different things to do with cooperation. I spoke to the Premier over the weekend. We're working closely together, but there are times when we have to get ourselves on the same page, which means one expert talking to another, and they sometimes will start with differing sets of evidence in front of them. So I think people should take assurance from the fact we are still working closely together. I am absolutely determined to continue that because I think if people see three governments and three experts and all offering different opinions, that's when they'll throw their hands up, and I wouldn't blame them.
So just to confirm then, Mayor Tory, that we can still, under the new guidelines that were released last week, still go to a restaurant and sit inside to eat, correct?
Yes, as of this moment, you still can. And there are some new guidelines about how many people you can have at a table. Again, and even things like how loud the music can be. And a lot of people shake their head and say, what's that about? Well, I mean, again, the experts will say, if the music's loud, you talk louder, you lean in to be heard. And these are all things that put you closer to the person next to you and increase the spread of the virus. And again, I first sort of rolled my eyes at that, and then I now understand it because it's sort of true. If you think about your own experience in a bar or restaurant, if it's really noisy, you get much closer to the person next to you and you talk louder to them, and that enhances the spread of these water droplets.
You see the numbers we broke 2 records last week, and then you look at the ages of the people who are in it the most, which is the under 40 crowd.
Yep.
We had said on this show that when it comes to coronavirus, a lot of young people who still feel invincible are looking at coronavirus like it's crabs, not HIV. And, it's something you can deal with. We're going to survive. It's not going to kill us. And then we're going to go on with our lives. But I don't know if they're still taking it seriously enough with the effects that their recklessness may have on other people. What is the next way to get the message out? Because I don't know if there's any other way I can think of to do it. I wouldn't even know how to recommend for you guys to do it other than what's already been said. But what's the next step on talking to the people who are under 40 and are wildly reckless when it comes to COVID?
Well, we're going to try to use different, platforms. For example, I'm going to record something this week for TikTok. Because again, I'm not a regular appearer on TikTok. truck, and I don't use it myself, but I know lots of people do, and we're going to try to sort of make more of an effort in that area. And I think that what has to happen as well is there have to be some really serious family discussions, because maybe the parents and grandparents have to say to the younger people who are having this sense of invincibility, and they should know, by the way, people who have contracted the COVID-19 virus at a young age may not even have to go to the hospital, but they can end up with long-term heart and lung damage. The experts have said this. And the second thing to think about is that you may not end up in hospital or with any heart or lung damage, but why do you want to take a chance on giving it to your grandmother or to your mother or father who are more vulnerable? So these are the kinds of things we have to get across to people, and I'm not being critical of them. I'm just saying that, when you're young, I remember when I was young, I thought, well, I didn't have a health problem in the world. You'd sort of, when people tell you about how you eat or how you exercise, you say, well, that doesn't apply to me. I'm young. And it just, actually, in this case, it does apply. And what we saw happening in the last week or so, or 2 weeks, was some spread back into the older population. You can see there are now some outbreaks again in long-term care and so on with the older people. And it stands to reason that if you have a whole bunch of cases in young people, eventually it's going to get to the older people through parents, grandparents, long-term care, you name it.
Mayor John Tory, we know you're a busy guy, so thank you.
Throw him on hold for just a sec.
Oh, God, okay. Maury's up to some trouble here. That's good. I enjoy his trouble, though. It's good.
I got time for the gibberish. Come on, man. What you doing? We're already
He's having a private conversation with the mayor right now.
We're
just doing an interview. You're having a private conversation with the man, and we're just doing an interview.
So what's going on, Mayor Tory?
Well, look, I just want to say thanks for having me on. And, like down in the White House where they do something with turkeys, I want to say thank you, a special thank you to the only turkey that we've got around this Thanksgiving. That's our friend Roz.
Wow, dude. Honestly.
And quite a turkey he is, too.
You know what? I'm glad nobody can come over for Thanksgiving. I'm glad now. I don't want to see anybody.
A turkey for at least 20 people, if not 30.
Oh, Mayor John Tory, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Care.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Today is the day that all those new COVID restrictions that were passed unanimously in council last week come into effect. But I have a question.
Go.
So it says the focus right now is on bars and restaurants. I get that.
Yeah.
Although I do not think that is the big problem. I think it's people gathering together in their own homes.
Agreed.
Max capacity for any given establishment is trimmed down to 75, okay?
Yeah.
With no party sizes greater than 6.
Correct.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That means me, you, Damnit Maurie, Shem, and like 2 other people. Let's say my wife Jenna, your girlfriend Catherine.
Okay.
Could all go to a...
Sorry, Matthew.
...restaurant together.
Okay, but what about outside?
What do you mean outside?
Like, okay, so parties of 6, is that at my house or is this only for restaurants?
This is, I believe, only at restaurants.
Only at restaurants.
Because in our homes, you're only allowed to congregate with the people that live under the same roof.
What if I'm in the backyard?
I don't know.
What's the rules for outdoors?
I don't know.
Because we used to know all the rules.
Yeah.
Right? I knew all the rules, man.
Like the other day,
now
we said that, for us, I can't have you and your family at my place this weekend for Thanksgiving.
No.
However, our 2 families, technically, you're 3, we're 3.
Yeah.
Could get together at Swiss Chalet, let's say.
Right.
And kick it for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, see, that's my problem, is I used to know all the rules. I think we all used to know all the rules. And what's so frustrating now is that I don't know what the rules are anymore.
Don't tell anyone?
Yeah.
But my parents and my sisters are coming over on Saturday.
Are they?
Outside.
In
the backyard because the weather's going to be decent, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, with the way the numbers are going, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see my family at Christmas.
No, I know.
So this might be the last time I get to see them until the new year.
Yeah.
Not to scare anyone.
I know.
Right? It's just personal preference based on the information that we're giving.
Hey, sorry, your husband Matthew wasn't invited to our fake party, Maury.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
I knew that would be the answer.
My dad is crushed that we're not going for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is one of the most important. We just love it. It's so warm and stuff. And I haven't seen my dad in months.
Right. Yeah.
I miss the guy. And I was looking forward to seeing him for Thanksgiving, and
turn the jazz down, Mocha. Turn the jazz down.
And when I called him to tell him you could hear it in his voice that my dad wanted to see me, and I love that because you don't often know if your dad loves you, but when you're not at Thanksgiving, you know
your
he
dad.
does.
You know your dad loves you, Maury.
I know, but
there's no question.
I like
We all
hearing it
know.
sometimes.
I know. Well, you don't have to start. Now you're going backwards, though. Now you're wondering whether this is affecting the sort of love that your dad has for you. We all know that your dad loves you.
I know, but when you hear it, when he's like, but what about the gelled cranberry sauce and the stuffing and the turkey and the potatoes? I'm sorry. The Brussels sprouts, like, what are we supposed to do with all of it? Like, we were going to have a special, it's the only time we eat at the dining room table.
Sorry, run down that menu again?
Brussels sprouts, potatoes, stuffing, gelled cranberry sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a tradition where it has to stay in the shape of the can on the plate.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to get to see your dad.
And then he said, well, what about Christmas?
Yeah. But we don't know about Christmas. Don't start talking about Christmas now.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine you can't see your family for Christmas?
Yeah, I can. And it sucks.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But listen, don't worry. Listen, Thanksgiving is one thing. You guys do a Zoom thing. You sit on the phone. That's what everybody's doing. But don't start thinking that your old man doesn't love you anymore or questioning his love for you. That's wild, man.
And then he apologized like Corona was my fault.
He apologized because he thought it was your fault?
Oh, sorry. He asked me to apologize.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hello?
Happy birthday, Sarah. It's Roz and Mocha.
What? Sorry, I'm in my car. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Where are you off to?
To work.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
We got a text from your boyfriend, Mike.
Yes.
That said that it's your birthday
cool.
and that you're a super huge fan of the Roz and Mocha Show. And he also said that you're such a hard worker and you have the patience of an angel.
Wow.
Oh, that's so nice. I listen to you guys all the time, so it's kind of crazy that you're calling me right now.
Now, when he says that you have the patience of an angel, is that because he does something to piss you off?
No, he's amazing.
Okay.
He's amazing. I've just dealt with so many people that are not so amazing.
Ooh, care to spill the tea, girl? She's like, nah. I keep my secrets to myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do for your special day, Sarah?
Well, it's my 30th. So,
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
I'm taking a half day off work and doing dinner with the family and my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
But we have Niagara planned for the weekend. So, Niagara on the lake.
Just the two of you, not like with your family, right?
The two of us, but then my family will be joining, not in the same room.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I know.
Look at you. You got to celebrate your 30th birthday, and you got all these hoops you got to jump through and precautions you got to take and everything else. What would you have done? Let's say we're back in a perfect world, okay, where it's going to be the kind of weather it is this weekend on your birthday. What would you normally have done?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I wanted to do a trip to Europe.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah. Can't do that.
So, yeah. I was going to do Florence, Italy. That was my idea, but that got ruined, so...
So now instead of wine tasting and biking around Italy, you got to stay on this side of the border, wine taste and bike around Niagara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, there was a lot of people that had those trips booked to Italy. Do you remember how bad Italy was at the beginning of all of this? Italy was the worst.
Yeah, they were the worst,
They were the worst, yeah. Well, hey, listen, happy birthday. We love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And we know it ain't perfect, but it sounds like you have a pretty great birthday planned for this weekend.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarah,
love you guys so much.
Love you too, but just out of curiosity, between Roz and Mocha, who's your favorite?
Mocha!
Great.
Sorry, I'm Guyanese too.
Oh, here we go with this.
What?
Here we go. Oh, you can't sit with us. Okay, I get it.
No, it's not that.
Happy birthday, Sarah!
I just relate more. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Yo, Florida is like next level weirdo, man. I don't think I will ever step foot in Florida.
No?
Again. I don't know, man. So the numbers for coronavirus are just like astronomical, right? Mm-hmm. And the governor out there has just been saying a lot of like wild and reckless stuff. Like last week, he was talking about like passing a bill to allow like college and university students to still be able to get together and like not face any heat from the authorities, because he feels like college kids just need to be college kids.
Yeah.
But I think it was yesterday he said he's lifted attendance restrictions for some sporting events. So like the Miami Dolphins, if they wanted to, could allow up to 65,000 people at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens.
Yeah.
Like as of right now, the Dolphins are not doing that. They do have sections for fans. Their max capacity right now is 13,000.
Yeah, that's wild.
But the Florida governor believes that things are in a good space out there to start lifting these restrictions. And like a few weeks ago, still, he was saying like everything's A-okay for people in restaurants. And we all know like businesses kind of have to get back to doing business and making money. But he was like lifting all the restrictions out there.
Yeah, Florida gets a weird rap. One, because it's Republican, and so it always gets pointed out before states like New York do, because New York was just as bad and worse than Florida for months and months and months. But it never got the attention that Florida did because people made COVID political. And
well, you remember,
it served a purpose to point their finger at Florida as opposed to looking at the numbers of New York.
Early on, they had opened up the beaches after like closing them shortly for a short period of time.
Yeah, but New York and Florida are disasters. And then you get that Floridian mentality, which is, and that they've always had that attitude in Florida. That's, like, let's go to a football game and let's get all these people together. Like, Florida has just always been that way.
Florida strong.
Florida strong. It's always been that way. And when you look at what the rest of the world is doing, like, I can't have my mom in my house for Thanksgiving this weekend, right? And yet in Florida, we could go with, 15,000 other people to a football game. Like, it's really wild. The differences in how places are handling COVID is really, really wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, maybe, who knows when Florida's going to be back to normal again? I have no idea.
I think some people in Florida think that they are back to normal.
Bro, there's a lot of people in Florida that don't think anything's wrong, that nothing ever was wrong.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
With the way they're living their lives. Just reckless.
Yeah.
But
so
again,
how many people do they want to put in a football stadium?
They're allowing 65,000.
65,000 people.
Yeah. And right now, they're already allowing 13,000.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Next level.
Yeah. The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
My Twitter right now is just all Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at what's trending, number 1, Trump has COVID. Number 2, Pence. Number 3, Hope Hicks. Number 4, Karma. Number 5, Trump COVID. Number 6, FLOTUS. Number 7, praying. Number 8, Rona. Number 9, hoax. Number 10, prayers. It's all Donald Trump.
Uh-huh. Hey, did you hear that audio of Melania?
No, what happened?
That her former aide, before she wrote this book, was secretly recording all these conversations that she had with Melania.
Can't trust anybody, huh?
And then she was on CNN last night and came with clips. Stephanie, what is her name? Stephanie Winston Wolkoff. This was from a conversation in 2018 where, if you remember, they went down to see the detainees at the border, and I guess Melania was trying to reunite a kid with her mom and wasn't able to because you have to go through the proper channels. And this is Melania and how pissed off she is. So
They say I'm complicit. I'm the same like him. I support him. I don't say enough. I don't do enough.
No.
Where I am, I'm working like my ass off with Christmas stuff that, who gives a about Christmas stuff and decoration, but I need to do it, right?
Yeah, but 100%. You have no choice.
And then I do it, and I say that I'm working on Christmas, planning for the Christmas, and they said, oh, what about the children, that they were separated? Give me a break. Where they were saying anything when Obama did that?
I know.
I cannot go. I was trying to get the kid reunited with the mom. I didn't have a chance. It needs to go through the process and through the law.
But here's my thing. Hear what you just said. But instead of that, if Your messaging, you were so loved.
They would not do the story. We put it out. They would not do the story.
I'm telling you.
You would not believe it. They would not do the story because they would not do the story because they are against us because they're liberal media. Yeah, if I go to Fox, they will do the story. I don't want to go to Fox.
Right. I always feel, and regardless of what the content is or who gets busted or whatever they say and how incriminating it is, anytime I listen to a conversation where somebody was taped that they didn't know they were being taped, I cringe. Like my back goes, like my back curls. Because it's such a violation. Even though I'm not even saying like don't release it, nothing like that. I'm just saying that when you listen to the conversation, because when one person, now that we know when you listen to stuff like this, when you know one person is recording it, you could really tell that the person who's recording it is acting accordingly.
Of course.
They're not saying anything. They're just leading them on,
but the
trying
other
to get them to
person
talk. And
has like full trust. Right? And figures, hey, I can say what I want to say.
Who the F who gives a F about Christmas decorations?
Yeah. The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So I was listening to a clip of the Shawn Mendes interview where he's talking about possibly doing the Bieber collaboration.
Wait, what? Hold on, what? What?
Yeah. Did you hear this?
No.
Okay, so you know the story that Shawn Mendes and Bieber were seen at a recording studio, right?
Okay.
And then so everybody's now been trying to figure out if Bieber's going to pop up on a collaboration on Shawn's new record.
Oh, yeah, because that drops on December 4th.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is the latest interview where somebody's trying to get it out of him, whether he's doing a collaboration with Bieber. And I guess what they did is they were clever because they asked him, have you ever turned down the offer to do a collaboration with Bieber?
Is you trying to get me to confirm that I have a collaboration with Justin Bieber that I didn't last month? Is this what you're saying? If I turned one down, that would be insane considering he's been one of my favorite artists since I was like 9 years old. I cannot confirm or deny.
Ooh, right?
So there is.
Yeah, definitely.
There has to be. Don't lie to us, Shawn Mendes.
How could you not, right?
Yeah.
You know me, I want Shawn Mendes and Harry Styles to put a band together and just do one record in a tour because I think that album would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like I want them to like just like a full record together, not a song. But get together and do
so perfectly.
Oh, and their styles would fit so well together.
But you know what? I would be interested to hear a Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber record.
Sure. Yeah. But I'm more interested in a Shawn Mendes, Harry Styles collaboration.
Yeah.
I'm going to start that rumor now.
What?
How do you start a rumor? How do you do that? How do you even start that?
Hold on, what?
Yeah.
You're saying Shawn Mendes and Harry Styles are putting a song
No. That's not what I'm saying. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that...
Trying to get the rumors started.
No, I'm trying to help you right now.
Oh, sorry.
You were a little too over the top and dramatic, if you don't mind me saying.
Okay, sorry.
Nobody's going to buy that rumor coming from... Are you saying Shawn Mendes and Harry Styles are... That's what you just did to try and get a rumor started. Nobody's going to buy that, man.
Let's start the rumor.
You got to be a little bit more understated. Okay. You're a terrible liar, aren't you? Don't make me bring Maurie in here to teach you how to lie.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Family Home Overhaul is a new show on HGTV airing Sundays at 10 p.m. And the premise is to give back to families who give everything to others in their lives or their community. And Scott McGillivray is one of the contractors featured on the show who helped transform a home in need of a reno. Scott McGillivray, welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show.
What's going on, guys?
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. So, Family Home Overhaul, your episode is Sunday night at 10. Cheryl Hickey from ET Canada, who we've all worked with for years, she hosts the show, and this is like a massive pay-it-forward movement that you guys have done on this show, right?
Yeah, it does. It definitely feels that way. I mean, for the first time in kind of HGTV history, these are people who were nominated from people in their community. So this isn't even people just applying to be on the show. This is just folks out there recognizing that some people are doing some incredible things in their community, and they're putting themselves and their homes on the back burner in order to, better their surroundings. And so when I was asked to participate, I took a look at the profile on this family. I'm like, oh my gosh, we absolutely have to do this.
And it makes you want to do a little a little bit more, a little bit extra to help these families out, right?
Well, for sure. I mean, as soon as you get there, you can't help but want to kind of pull as many strings as you can to get these people's personal situations up to date with or at least in line somewhat with the amount they're contributing back. So Cheryl was great, I have to say. It was, I've worked with Cheryl for years, but for her first time on one of these shows, boy, did she get emotionally invested. And she was like the cheerleader for our homeowners. And it was great, just the whole team coming together. And I think that this episode, I mean, I've only worked on this one, but boy, it is a doozy.
I'll tell you, even with this and as emotional as these episodes get, you still do get to go in and break stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
But when
you're kidding me, you guys know how to break stuff.
I know.
That's your specialty, isn't it?
That is the thing. I used to love the reveals on these shows, and I don't know whether it's just sitting around during COVID and you're just all pent up and we can't do anything. When I watch these shows now, I just, like, if I go back and I rewatch another part, it's the demo part. Like, that's the part that I'm drawn to now. It's like just grabbing something and breaking something. It's amazing to me.
I was going to say, like, this, when I was pulling this place apart, I mean, yes, it's very rewarding to do some demolition, but at the same time, you find out so much about these properties. And when I started pulling this one apart, I was like, oh my gosh, not only is this property in rough shape as we know it, but there's some things behind the walls here which are super problematic. So it does get, it starts off intense, and then things go from bad to worse once we do the demolition. But I don't even know if I'm allowed to tell you guys that much.
How do you always get saddled with the house that goes from bad to worse?
Well, I think it started when I did your house, Roz.
I know. my bathroom when Scott came and did our cottage years ago for income property, we had, it was like pink carpet and a green toilet in the bathroom.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Like it was, he walked in and I'm like, maybe you can work with this. There was literally no, like, sometimes you can see potential in things.
For sure.
There was no potential. Like, there was just.
It's like, I'm going to leave now.
There was just no, like, I almost didn't want to show Scott the bathroom because there was like no potential whatsoever. And then he made me take the toilet out myself and throw it into the bin, and all the toilet water ran down my leg. And I've never seen a man, and don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of people laugh at me to my face in my life. Yeah. I've never seen somebody laugh at my face as hard as Scott laughed the day that I poured dirty toilet water of a green toilet all over me.
It made it all worth it.
Good.
Hey, I don't know which show that you're currently in production right now with HGTV, but I saw on your Instagram the other day, Scott, that you had to do a COVID test when showing up on set. Are you going through these tests now, like, on the regular?
Yeah, I've been doing it once a week, and thankfully, no one on our crew has had symptoms, but we have a COVID compliance protocol that we've been following. We started filming back in June, and we're filming season 2 of Scott's Vacation House Rules. So we're fortunate enough to kind of be, in remote areas, doing a lot of outdoor work. We've limited our crew. We do temperature checks and check-ins when everyone arrives on set. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot of extra work, but we're getting the show done. Once a week, we set up appointments for everyone who wants on the crew to get COVID tested. So I've been going to get tested, man. Sometimes it gets pretty uncomfortable. That Q-tip, I swear, last time I went, when you were talking about my Instagram there, that last test, that guy swabbed my brain for sure.
God. The worst. And when you look at these shows, like even when you look at your episode of Family Home Overhaul or the new shows that you're doing or the YouTube show that you do, part of it is the reaction and then the reward. And that reward, people want to hug you and they want to high five you and they want to get in there and they want to be close to you. You can't do any of that stuff during a reveal anymore.
You honestly, you nailed it. Like everything is manageable. Like arriving is a bit weird when you meet people for the first time. Not shaking their hands is this awkward, like 8 feet apart. Hi, nice to meet you. And you kind of do this awkward wave. But the worst, you nailed it. The absolute worst is at the end when you're giving people their places back and they're they're so overwhelmed, they're so happy, and you're just staring at each other, and you want to have that like human connection.
Yeah.
It's literally it's depressing. I don't even know that ending these episodes has become the most awkward thing ever, because you're just, you're handing back the keys. You're like, welcome to your new home, and these people, their lives are changing, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, goodbye, and you just wave.
Because you're natural.
Yeah,
your natural instinct in that moment is to hug each other.
And I can tell anybody listening right now, Scott is a world-class hugger. And it's really unfortunate for anybody that works with him from now on that can't hug him. He is one of the world's greatest huggers.
Yeah, well, you and I have had some pretty good hugs, brother.
We have.
Family Home Overhaul on HGTV this Sunday, 10 p.m. Scott McGillivray, thank you so much for joining us on the Roz and Mocha Show.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk soon.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Sorry. I thought I was going to try something new. Today is not that day.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Hey,
we
Mocha.
can still try.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do the news. A Roz and Mocha Show and Kiss 92.5 News Break.
So Donald Trump and Melania both have COVID-19. That's the huge story of the day.
Don't you mean huge?
Huge. So this was Trump on Hannity last night before he made the announcement when he was talking to Hannity about how his aide, Hope Hicks, tested positive.
So she did test positive. I just heard about this. She tested positive. She's a hard worker. A lot of masks. She wears masks a lot, but she tested positive. Mm-hmm. And I just went out with a test. I'll see what, because we spent a lot of time, and the First Lady just went out with a test also. So whether we quarantine or whether we have it, I don't know. It's very hard when you're with soldiers, when you're with airmen, when you're with the Marines, and and the police officers. I'm with them so much. And when they come over to you, it's very hard to stay back. So I just went for a test, and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? But it's very, very hard when you are with people from the military or for law enforcement, and they come over to you, and they want to hug you, and they want to kiss you. You get close, and things happen. I just went out for a test. They just do it. It'll come back later, I guess. And the First Lady also, because we spend a lot of time with Hope and others.
So there you go.
Wants to hug you and kiss you. Come on, bro.
I know. And it did come back. It came back positive. Both of them have it, which has just thrown a massive wrench into everything that's going on right now. And if you remember back in the debate the other night, Trump going in on Biden for his excessive mask wearing.
Are you questioning
No, I think masks are okay. You have to understand, if you look, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Right. And we know.
Didn't they say that at that debate, like majority of Trump's people who showed up in the building were not wearing masks, and they were asked, like, hey, the protocol is everyone's got to wear a mask.
Yeah, I know that they all were when they were actually in the room, but I don't. But yeah, I think that they roll without them. And what we know is that Donald Trump is he's 74.
Yeah,
244 pounds. Probably has mayonnaise with every meal. We know that they have to hide cauliflower in his mashed potatoes because he won't eat vegetables. Like he's not the picture of health, right?
No.
So
he loves fast food.
Anyway, yeah, he does. There was something else. The other thing I watched last night was somebody had talked to one of the chefs at Mar-a-Lago, and they were talking about how Donald Trump likes his steak, and they were saying that he likes it so well done that he likes it so well done that it should rock back and forth on a plate like a brick on a plate, and then he just covers it in ketchup.
Oh, that is disgusting.
And not that has anything to do with coronavirus, but I'm just saying.
It's just gross.
It's a wrong way.
Come on.
Okay, so
medium or medium rare only.
I think what we're getting at is most things the man does, he does them the wrong way.
Yeah,
right.
Completely.
Most things in life
that's so gross
that the man does, he does the wrong way. A harsh reality for New York City, and we're seeing this with other cities across Canada as well. On Thursday, the New York State released a new report that shows how many restaurants and bars in that city may never recover. The audit by the state comptroller spells out the worst fears and that the financial outlook is extremely bleak, and they say up to 50% of New York bars and restaurants could close permanently within the next 6 months. 50% is their number. 2020 this year, man, Halloween, it couldn't, like, I'm so upset about Halloween because I love Halloween and Halloween's big in my house.
Yeah.
And with COVID and the idea, because we still don't know whether we're able to go trick-or-treating or not. There's still been no official word on that, right? No official word.
I think it's safe to say that no one's going to go.
But this is the perfect Halloween this year.
I know.
It's perfect. First of all, Halloween is on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? Also, Halloween is a full moon this year.
Oh, no! Is it really?
Yeah. 2020 Halloween will be a blue moon. A blue moon is when there's two full moons in the same month. So the second one's called a blue moon. There was
the first one on Thursday, the harvest moon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's going to be another full moon on Halloween, and this will be the first time since World War II, since 1944, that there's going to be a full moon on Halloween across all time zones. The first time since 1944, also Halloween on a Saturday.
And we all got to stay inside.
Right.
Oh, no!
Come on.
Don't buy me a telescope.
I know. I'm so upset about that. Really upset. This year's unusual blue moon, as we said, the first time since 1945. Although there is a full moon on Halloween, it's not always a blue moon, though, but there's full moon on Halloween somewhere in the world every 19 years, meaning the next one will occur 2039, followed by 2058, and then 2077.
Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
Give me those dates again. Let me put it on my calendar.
Yeah. 2039.
As a blue moon or full?
This is just a full moon.
2039.
2039.
Which full moon?
What's that?
Which one? Blue moon?
No.
A blue full moon?
No, just a full moon.
No, we get a full moon once a month.
I know, but on Halloween.
Oh, on Halloween. Okay,
yes.
Sorry. Okay, October of what?
2039.
Okay, added. Yeah.
The next one, October 2058.
Hold on, I got to scroll.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have 2058 in your phone?
Yeah, hold on.
Do you have to plug that in?
2058. Here we go. Look, 2058.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. You do have 2058 in your phone.
October 31st. Okay.
Okay. And then again on 2077. I don't know if you go that far.
Shut up, man.
You think you're going to be kicking it in 2077?
Of course I will.
Yeah,
be.
okay.
Here, okay. Okay, here. 2077.
Okay.
Here, I got it right here.
All right.
Oh, look. Halloween on October. Okay, here.
Yeah.
Put this in your calendar, everybody.
I bet you 2077. Check to see if there's an October 32nd in there. Because I need to, because like the world may change drastically by then.
No, October 2077. Halloween falls on a Sunday.
Oh.
FYI.
So much going on with Trump and this coronavirus thing. So there was...
You got coronavirus? I didn't even hear about it.
There was all of this... like conspiracy going on yesterday. Did you see those two pictures of him where he was in the hospital, and one he's wearing the suit jacket, signing papers in one room, and then I guess later on in the day he was he's so busy.
It was a blank piece of paper, and then like the reflections didn't match.
But the metadata on the picture, apparently when it was uploaded is that the two pictures were taken like 10 minutes apart in two different rooms, and then they're like saying it's all the same stuff on the desk that he had from room to room, just moved around. Like the whole thing is so...
Did you see that one picture with all the
arrow?
Yeah, the blue arrows. This is placed here. This is placed here. This is what he's using here.
This stuff, I'm going to say this, okay? And one, it's fascinating, but this stuff helps nobody. When you're spending your time just analyzing those two rooms.
You still looked at all of them.
Right? Because you couldn't avoid it.
I know.
But Trump says that he's learned a lot about COVID-19 since contracting it.
It's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it.
Oh, great. 6 months later.
The Walter Reed attending physician took a swipe at Trump for the drive-by in his SUV to say hi to supporters over the weekend. He said this, the The presidential SUV is not only bulletproof, but hermetically sealed against chemical attacks. The risk of COVID-19 transmission inside is as high as it gets outside of medical procedures. The irresponsibility is astounding. My thoughts are with the Secret Service forced to play along. Because now they have to go into
and they couldn't stop him, huh?
You can't. No. I mean, you can advise him, sure. You can advise, but I get the sense that Trump is start the car, guys.
He's like, I already got my jacket and my mask on.
Yeah, because he's so blown away that people were there to support him.
Yeah,
right. That he had to go and see for himself. You moron.
They love me.
And apparently Trump lied when he was on Fox News about testing positive for corona because he had a quick test. I don't know what that means. On Thursday, that apparently was positive, and then he did the interview with Hannity where he said that he was waiting on a conclusive test. So he said that he tested negative, but he had actually tested positive on that first test too, and was telling other people in his inner circle who were all at the Rose Garden massacre to not tell anybody that they had coronavirus.
What was it he said? Remember a few months ago when he was like, I tested negative.
I tested negatively towards the positively towards the negative. Do you still have that clip, Maury? Do we still have that? Can you look in the thing for him? I think he said I tested positively towards the negative, right? Yeah. It was the most ridiculous way to say that I tested negative.
And I tested very positively in another sense. So this morning, I tested positively toward negative, right? So no, I tested perfectly this morning.
Positively to the negative.
When was that? That was when he started getting tested every day and stuff like that, right? I tested positively. He has such a hard time saying that anything he did was negative. Right? He can't even say the words that he's done something negative, even when negative is the good thing.
I know. He still has to be a champ.
Right?
And I tested very positively in another sense. So this morning, I tested positively toward negative, right? So
what a moron. What an absolute moron.
Oh, man.
Hey, have they caught the guy that sucker punched Rick Moranis yet?
How dare that? Oh, I
See
swear.
This video?
You know
video
what?
Too.
I purposely did not watch the video.
Beautiful Rick Moranis was walking around New York City and at 7...
Minding his own business.
Minding his own business, yeah. And somebody just walked up and sucker punched them and knocked him out. And they took him to the hospital. I guess he's going to be okay, but my God. So they're offering a $2,500 reward for information that leads to the guy's arrest. And there's good pictures of the guy, too, that did it.
They should up that.
Yeah, I know. It's not good. Chris Evans tweeted, Moranis. My blood is boiling. Find this man. You don't touch Rick Moranis.
It's true.
I know. We all feel the same way.
He only just came out of hiding.
I know. And I don't think this guy knew who he was, too. He just saw
it was just random.
It was just random. Just walking down the street. You get stuck. And this guy was huge, too. And Rick Moranis is little.
He's a tiny guy. I know.
Yeah. It's not good.
Oh, Rick Moranis, we love you, bro.
Anna Hesh last night on Dancing with the Stars. So before we get to the disaster that was the ending of Dancing with the Stars, during one of the packs where they introduced the celebs, Anne was talking about back in 1997 when she was dating Ellen and what that relationship did to her career. This is Anne.
My story is a story that created change in the world. It's moved the needle for equal rights forward when I fell in love with Ellen DeGeneres. In 1997, I met Ellen DeGeneres at the Vanity Fair party, and that was the night that changed my life forever. My movie premiere, Volcano, I had told them that I was taking Ellen as my date, and I was told if I took Ellen, I would lose my Fox contract. At that moment, she took my hand and said, do what they say. And I say no thanks.
Wow.
I took Ellen to the premiere. I was ushered out by security before the movie even ended and told I was not allowed to go to my own after party for fear that they would get pictures of me with a woman. It was unbelievable. Part of my naivete was that I had no idea. She was warning me, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I was in a relationship with Ellen DeGeneres for 3.5 years, and the stigma attached to that relationship was so bad that I was fired from my multi-million-dollar picture deal, and I did not work in a studio picture for 10 years.
Wow.
Damn.
Right? So then you get to the end of Dancing with the Stars last night, where Tyra is supposed to announce the bottom two.
Okay.
And this is why everybody's going in on Tyra today, because there was a huge screw up.
Man, she's been getting no love at all.
Zero.
Since she took over hosting.
So here's the screw up from last night.
Which means Anne and Keo and Vernon and Peta are at the bottom two. There's actually been an error. I'm looking right now, and we have 3 couples. So we need to clarify this for 1 second. The bottom 2 couples are Anne and Keo and Monica and Val.
Oh, no.
Please come back. Please have Monica come back. There's been an error in our control room, but we're making it happen. This is live TV, right? This is the craziness of live TV. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. This is live TV. I was reading my cards, but my cards were wrong. So here we go.
Oh, no.
And then unfortunately, it was Anne that was sent home.
Oh.
Yeah, so Anne Hesh got sent home last night. So that is the end of
So it was Tyra's screw up, but she's blaming everybody else.
Listen, I don't know exactly what happened.
It was the control room.
Okay, but...
It was read wrong on my cards. Somebody wrote the wrong answer.
I don't know exactly what happened, but that was the sort of unceremonious exit of Anne Heche from last night on Dancing with the Stars, even after she told that fantastic and heartbreaking story about dating Ellen back in 1997. Miley Cyrus is doing an MTV Unplugged from her backyard. Remember MTV Unplugged?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to be doing that.
One of my favorites is the Jay-Z Unplugged. Oh, I used to love that album.
She's going to be doing a lot of her own hits, plus covers of Britney, Pearl Jam, and the Cardigans.
Okay, I'm into it.
Apparently, and she did this back in 2014 to promote bangers as well. Connor McDavid has COVID-19. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. Where'd he get it from? Trump, probably.
Carrie Ann Inaba was defending Tyra Banks on the talk yesterday where she is a host, because the mix-up happened where the other night Tyra announced the wrong bottom two and then had to bring somebody in, and then she immediately said, I had the wrong name on my card. It was a problem in the control room. And Tyra, who's been getting a lot of heat since taking over from Tom Bergeron and Aaron Andrews as host of Dancing with the Stars, a lot of people weren't buying her explanation as to what happened, and that they were accusing her of blaming others for her mistake. So Carrie Ann Inaba yesterday on the talk came to Tyra's defense.
I just want to clarify for everyone, everyone's blaming Tyra on social media. It was not Tyra's fault. She had the wrong names given to her at the beginning of the elimination round, but it was a technical error in the booth about counting the votes and who was actually the bottom two. So the important thing to know is that the true bottom two were indeed Monica and Anne, and then sadly we had to choose who went home. And I just felt badly for everybody because it was so, that's like the most stressful moment of the show. And then to have all that chaos, and then Vernon and Chriselle didn't quite know where to go, and we all just kind of hopped in. But I think Tyra did an amazing job handling a really intense live situation. So bravo to Tyra.
That's just a real good friend standing up for a coworker, because it's her show too, right?
It is.
She's got to defend it.
Yeah. Eddie Van Halen passed away yesterday, 65 years old, battled cancer for 10 years. Such a great track. Funny, this song called Panama, and when I first met Catherine, the album is off an album called 1984.
Okay.
And when I first met Catherine and I found out she was born in 1984, I just started calling her Panama.
Aw.
Right? And she had no idea why. It was like years later until she found out why I called her Panama.
She never questioned it at all? She just thought it was like a cute name?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she never questioned it at all. He was an absolute legend, and most people who play guitar in part because of Eddie Van Halen. That's just the raw truth of things. And one of the coolest stories in music came out when the story was told of how Eddie Van Halen wound up doing the solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It. Because if you remember, Beat It had that wicked guitar solo in the middle of it. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's Eddie Van Halen.
That I didn't know.
And what happened was the guys in Van Halen all had this pact that they were a band and that none of them would do solo projects, none of them would do features, none of them would do anything, and that they would only, anytime you heard anybody from Van Halen, would only be in Van Halen.
One for all for one.
Exactly. And then they were in between tours and albums, and everybody else was out of town. And Quincy Jones called Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, Michael's got this track, and we'd love it if you'd come and do a solo on it. And at that point, Eddie Van Halen was like, okay, I'll come and do the solo on a couple conditions. One, I get no credit.
Oh,
Two,
wow. Don't tell the guys.
Two, I get no money. Three, nobody ever finds out. But I will take a case of beer and the promise that Michael gives me a dance lesson at some point.
No.
Yeah. So he went and ripped that solo for a case of beer and no credit because it was just too difficult.
Yeah. The guys are going to be so mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did the solo on Beat It
wow.
for that, which
I didn't
is
know that. That's
which
a great
is
story.
kind of a boss move.
Roz and Mocha Q&A.
Yo, John, you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry. Just John on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast. What is your question?
Oh, great. Awesome to be here. So my question is, what is an opinion that you have that when you say it, it immediately strikes up a debate? And it doesn't have to be something serious. It can be something like everyday things, like a food opinion, a sports opinion, or anything like that.
Well, I know for a fact with Roz, bringing up ketchup as being an essential condiment. Roz is very much against ketchup on anything.
I think that ketchup is for children and people who hate food. Go discuss.
Wait, do you have one, John?
I have two things. One of them is something that Roz said before in an earlier show, where I have a thing about where something, if you want to call something a cheeseburger, it should only be made with that processed cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And not with like any other like those fancy cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think of that as a cheeseburger. So when I think of cheeseburger, I think of the burger with that, that gooey, delicious processed cheese. That's one of them.
Yeah.
And the second one is a bit more contentious. Is I've always thought that Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, is a top 5 Star Wars movie.
What? You're nuts. How dare you? How friggin' dare you? Did
No,
you watch that
no,
movie with your eyes closed?
Okay, wait, though.
Wide open.
So you said a top 5.
Yes.
Okay, so what's
Out of 9?
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to get too bent out if you say top 5. If you said top 3, we would have words.
Yeah.
But top 5. So what's above it?
So my rankings are number 1, Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Number 2, A New Hope.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, number 4 and 5 is where it can get contentious. I split between Episode 8 and Rogue One.
Okay, so you are counting the other movies.
Yes.
Okay, so you're counting Rogue One. You're also counting Solo.
Yes.
Yeah, if we're counting Rogue One and Solo, the New Jedi should be way lower because both Rogue One and Solo were better movies.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
I disagree, but, that's
I don't know, but the sounds of that bell in the background, that horn, it sounds like they agree with us.
My time is up.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I say, I would definitely put Rogue One over Last Jedi. Last Jedi is would literally be last on my list. I would even pick, as much as I don't like the prequel movies, I would even pick Revenge of the Sith higher than The Last Jedi. That's how much I dislike that movie.
Yeah, I really dislike that movie. Very much so. But yeah, okay, so a couple of mine. Just things that would start a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that national anthems should be played before sporting events.
It's so funny you bring that up because I was also going to bring that up as something that bugs you.
Yeah, it does bug me a lot. It's not the Olympics. It means nothing. It was originally used as a recruitment tool for the military, and there's nothing patriotic about, watching a Canadian team that's populated by mostly Europeans and Americans playing against an American team populated mostly of Canadians. Like it makes no sense to me, and I don't understand it. They don't do it anywhere else in the world. They don't do it before soccer. They don't do it before anything anywhere else in the world, unless it is nation versus nation. Like unless it is a World Cup or the Olympics or where the flag matters, where you're playing for your country. In pro sports, they're not playing for the country, and it bothers me that they play the anthem before it.
I, on the other hand, John, love when they play the national anthem. I will stand there proud. I will take off my hat, put it over my chest.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
bugs me.
I love it. I will sing along
You do,
with
huh?
the crowd.
No.
Yes, dude.
No, it bugs me.
I love it.
Yeah, I also think that when it comes to cooking, because you brought up cooking, and that is, it bothers me when people are proud of putting grill marks on a steak.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because to me that's a ruined steak. Because a steak should not, a properly cooked steak over fire should have no grill marks on it.
No, but if you're going to grill something on the barbecue, I find it very difficult unless you cook it on super low heat to get grill marks.
What's that?
Then you're saying every restaurant is doing it wrong.
Yes.
What makes you some sort of cooking hero?
Because it shouldn't have grill marks, because the grill marks are caused by the heat of like the cast iron hitting in, I don't even know what it is, like one of the enzymes in the meats, and it's burned, it's not cooked. And so all those spots in between the grill marks that aren't cooked, that's wasted, right? So people put it on there and they try and get perfect grill marks when really what you should be doing is constantly moving the steak around. Constantly. You don't want grill marks because you don't want those charred parts of the steak. What you want is that perfect, even, super dark red crust over the whole thing. You don't want black grill marks.
See,
on
I
a
did
steak.
steaks on the barbecue for dinner yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got grill marks, but I only put the steaks on for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes aside.
Right.
On super high heat. So I don't mind that crunchy, kind of smoky, almost burnt, little bit taste. Because the steak, when you cut right down the middle, it was still red. It was still very, very rare.
Yeah, but that whole outside should be crust. The whole outside.
I'll
So
try
you
that next time.
oil it up.
Yeah.
Get it like super oiled up. And when you throw it on the grill and you get that fire shooting up around it, start moving it.
Really?
Yeah, start moving it
I will
around
try that.
because you want that like perfect. Everything needs to be that super dark red.
Always open to suggestions.
as opposed to grill marks. So that's my only other thing. Maury?
Oh, mine is, I think that at Passover, the Afikoman search should be opened up to everybody, not just the youngest children.
The what? I don't know what that is. What is it?
And this is always a debate because I think it's unfair that I've aged out for searching for the Afikoman.
What is the Is it
the
like
middle matzah?
Okay.
The old, like your grandfather or somebody will go and hide it, and the young children have to go and find it, and if whoever finds it will get $1.
Oh.
I find it
like
unfair.
an Easter egg hunt.
Yes,
Okay.
I find it unfair. And if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, that this is an episode because Larry David found the kids cheating. So I find it unfair that I'm unable to search for the Afikoman because of my age.
So at what age do you age out?
It's always the youngest children. It's just it's not an aging out thing. It's if there are young children, they go, you don't.
Right.
But who determines the age of,
right.
like, what if, like, a 13-year-old is there?
If that's the youngest, then by all means, go at her.
Okay.
See, but I'm not the youngest. I'm not the youngest, and it's unfair. Why can I not participate?
Wait, what? It's the youngest that gets to participate?
Yeah.
So what if a 13-year-old is there and a 10-year-old is there?
Then the 10 and the 13-year-old will go.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so what if it's a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old?
Then they go. Right?
So at what age do you age out? Like, at what age are you not allowed to participate?
Oh, usually once you hit 20, you're too old.
Oh,
right?
okay, so that was the
But if
question.
you're doing a table and there's only the 20-year-old, then okay, sure.
Then okay, sure. What, the 20-year-old goes searching?
And they'll give
for the
you
dollar?
Yeah, and they'll give you something like here's Canadian Tire money or something.
Canadian Tire money.
That's worth less than $1.
Do you have anything, Mocha? Do you have anything?
You can't use the Afikoman one I just did.
Yeah, don't use that
darn.
one. Yeah,
I gotta come
know.
up with another one.
I know, it's crazy, huh?
Okay. If you have these, no offense to you.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wear them proud. I know that they're comfortable. They're just not my thing.
Okay.
And the reason why I bring this up is that it's been a very steady conversation in our home for the past month now.
Really?
I do not want and I do not like Crocs.
But does that spark debate?
It does, because my wife got new Crocs that she said changed her life.
Yeah.
Right? And she got like the fancy ones where, I don't know if you guys know this. I say fancy because I've never seen these ones before.
Yeah.
But they have an inner lining that is like fluffy.
Yes,
a fluffy
Oh,
inner lining.
like winter Crocs?
Yeah. And she says that they are beautiful. They make her feet feel better. They're very comfortable. She bought a little set of Crocs for our son, Cruz, who loves them. And she's like, listen, they're so comfortable. And she's like turned other people on in our lives to Crocs.
Yeah, kids love Crocs, huh?
Right? And I'm like, and she keeps bringing it up. And she's like, do you want, like, I have a coupon code. It's going to expire soon. I can get you these Crocs. I'm like, babe, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm A-okay. If you want to represent Crocs, like, go ahead. But it's not my thing at all.
But you could wear them around the house. You don't have to wear them.
And that's the thing. She said, that's exactly what she said. She's like, I'm just getting these for you to wear around the house. And I'm like, I don't want to wear them around the house. If I want to wear shoes, I'll buy like a set of Jordans or Air Force Ones that I can wear in the house.
But you can't wear those if it's, you can't wear your Air Force One, whatever you just said, around the house if it's cold. You got to wear something like a slipper, like a Croc.
But I have slippers as well.
Catherine got me Crocs for Father's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
I hate them. I wore them once and I'll never wear them again.
See?
Yeah, but I have a
yours
friend.
aren't the fluffy ones.
No, just regular Crocs. I got a friend of mine who goofed on me because I posted a picture of getting Crocs for Father's Day.
Yeah.
He texted me right away and goofed on me. And this is the second pair of Crocs that Catherine has bought me. Okay? The second pair. And he immediately texted me to goof on me. And so as a goof, I took one of my pairs of Crocs and I dropped them off at his house.
Good for you.
Okay?
And?
Now it's the only thing he wears.
Stop it!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
He loves Crocs?
He loves them.
No way!
He's out there fixing his motorcycle. He's doing lawn work.
Yeah?
He's going to the grocery store.
And
loves
yours are
them.
still brand
And
new.
I have a pair of brand new Crocs sitting by the front door that I've never worn.
Really?
That I've never worn. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like the little bumps on the bottom of them. I don't like the way that the ankle thing, like that hooks around the back of your heel, because I can't get out of them fast enough. I find that I like to just slip flip-flops on and off.
When are you in a rush to go?
Okay, stop it. Shut up. But I am 100% with you. I have a wife that is all Crocs. She doesn't even wear them, though. She just wants me to have Crocs, right? And Jenna and Catherine are the exact same, and I am so with you, which is I'm good. I don't need them. Yeah. And I don't
Just
like them.
yesterday, she brought it up again.
No, it's not cool.
He was like, oh, these Crocs feel so good on my feet. Are you sure you don't want me to get you a pair?
I would like to try the fuzzy
No.
ones.
Yeah?
Can I get your coupon code? I'd love to try the fuzzy ones.
Like she bought a set for my mother-in-law who was interested.
Really,
We have family friends where the husband and wife got a set because Jenna like told them how comfortable they were. And this couple, they love their Crocs. And I'm like, love your Crocs. Do your thing. Represent Croc life. Yeah. I'm good though.
Croc life.
Don't at me with this stuff.
I didn't choose the Croc life. The Croc life chose me. Yeah, I'm with you. And look at this. Okay, so look at this. We just had a 15-minute discussion about Crocs. So I hope that answers your question. I'm gonna say, although Maury, yours was
the Yuffie Common should be of all ages.
The Yuffie Common should be all ages. I'm gonna say that was a close second, but I'm gonna say that the winner of this round definitely goes to Mocha and his
Can
Crocs.
I toss in one more?
No, we're done. We've decided a winner. But go ahead.
I was
It's not in competition,
no,
though.
I just wanted to, because it's really bothering me.
Yes.
That when you're serving wine at your house, it should be in a stem glass, not those wine cups that are not with a stem, that are more like a juice glass. If you're serving wine, it should have that stem.
Why?
Because that way you're not changing the temperature of the wine. You thought I wouldn't say something smart, did you?
No.
That is so pretentious.
Yeah, it's so
honestly.
pretentious, dude.
No, it's
You're not that fancy, bro, when you drink one glass of wine a month.
Yeah, who are you serving it to when you say that, by the way, when you're serving wine at your house?
My stepmom came over and I gave her wine in one of those juice glass ones because that's what she says, I will not drink that unless there's a stem. So you can't say I'm pretentious. It's Donna.
I only drink out of rock glasses when I have anything, especially wine.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I go to an event where they're serving up wine, I'll take the wine, ask for a rock glass, and I'll take the wine out of the wine glass and pour it into the rock glass.
I truly do believe, though, that your hands change the temperature.
I'm not saying they don't. I mean, I put ice in my white wine, so I'm a savage at these things. But no, I hate those glasses. I will never have wine glasses in the house.
Really?
Nah.
Damn.
No, everything just goes in a regular, we have really nice low glasses.
Yeah.
Because I've been when you go to Italy, right? I'm telling you this, and I say this all the time. When you're sitting in Rome and you're sitting in a piazza on a patio and you're having a pizza, when you order a wine, they don't bring it to you in one of those big giant glasses with the long stem.
What are they bringing in?
In a regular glass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You've never said that before. What do you mean you say this all the time?
I've said it to people all the time because they're like, why don't you like a wine glass? And I'm like, I take my cue from Italians. Right. And when you're sitting there, I was shocked because they have these round bottom glasses with like that kind. You know what it looks like? It looks like a wine glass without the stem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have a ton of those in our house.
That's what
Just a regular stemless wine glass.
That's what they give you wine with.
I take my cue from Niagara-on-the-Lake people.
Okay.
Hey, thanks so much, John.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Hey, Shem, come on in here for a second because I was thinking about this the other day. And I want your opinion. I want to get your opinion on it as well, which is I was thinking a lot about, and I don't know why, I was thinking a lot about hip hop and how it's just so different from other genres of music, but not because of the actual artists or anything else. Because I think rap is like sports. And tell me if I'm wrong about this.
Okay.
Rap is populated and is carried through the young as opposed to other genres of music, where it's almost like sports, where you age out faster in rap than you do in any other genre of music.
Are you talking about artists or people who enjoy the music? Okay, gotcha.
Artists. Where if you look at people who were super popular even in, say, the year 2000.
Yep.
Right? Which is the same year that, Coldplay came out.
Okay.
Coldplay still touring, still doing albums, still doing everything else. There's very few artists in hip-hop that were megastars in 2000 that could even sell out anything today, and it's all young artists. It's like sports to me, where they just keep cycling through young artist after young artist after young artist. Like the biggest names in raps to me change even in the 11 years we've been doing this show.
Oh, absolutely.
There have been 4 or 5 different kings of the moment, and it's all young, and then they age out.
Yeah. Like you bring up early 2000s, you couldn't have, let's say, pre-COVID world, right? Where you could do an arena show. You couldn't put on a bill like Ja Rule is coming to enter city name here, or 50 Cent is going to whatever city, or Nelly, and have that stadium sell out the way you would if you said, hey, Drake is going to be in your city.
So I want to say 2 things. You mentioned Drake. I think that's what makes Drake so impressive. His run, his decade-long run, sort of as the guy at the top, or at least one of the guys that you talk about at the top.
Which is what I'm saying, is that a decade should not be considered long. But it's crazy that it is.
But in hip hop, it's a long time. The other thing I'll say is, I think, yes, definitely hip hop will age you out. But I also think there's a certain level of respect for the guys that, let's say, do age out in hip hop that doesn't necessarily occur in other genres.
Like you look at female artists, okay? And I always will, you look at the female artists because the guys are whatever. But you look at the female artists and you look at female artists in other genres, whether it was country or rock or whatever, and then you look at those female artists that were popular at the time, at the same time Missy Elliott was popular. Those other women in all those other genres are still killing it and still selling out, where Missy was the biggest thing in the world at that time, and she aged out.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely taken much more of a behind-the-scenes sort of role, right? Like she's not out in front of the camera doing, music videos like she did back in the early 2000s. Yeah, it's very different. I don't know why that's the case with hip hop, but I also think hip hop sort of evolves in a way that other music genres don't. And I don't say that as a criticism of the other genres or of hip hop. It's just different, right? I mean, you talk about 50 Cent and even like Flo Rida. Like, think about how different that sort of hip hop is compared to a lot of the hip hop that you hear now, which is very, some of it is very, what's the best way to say this?
Mumble rap.
Mumble rap. Yeah. There you go. Mumble rap, right? It's just different. And I think because it evolves differently, I think it makes it a lot more, I think it makes the artist a lot easier, a lot more disposable. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when the
because
new
I don't think they're built to
thing-
last, right? I
When the
don't know
new
what it
thing
is.
came out, which is mumble rap, it was like everyone that was gravitating towards that kind of hip hop looked at everything before and was like, well, that's old now. Like nobody's doing any of that anymore. It's because literally everyone started doing mumble rap, and that became the most popular kind of genre of within hip hop.
Like to me, it just seems that every other genre of music. Okay, so even you get into like diva pop. So there's still a place in the world for Mariah Carey.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's still a place in the world for the
Britney.
for Britney. There's still a place in the world for Aerosmith. There's still a place in the world for Coldplay. There's no place in the world for Will Smith and LL Cool J standing on a stage.
Unless they're hosting a TV show.
Unless they're hosting a TV show.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
right.
fair. That's fair.
And it's wild. It's wild because those two, like even guys like Will Smith and LL Cool J, they're not still selling out tours like everybody else of their age in every other genre of music.
Yeah. Like look at Bon Jovi. How long has Bon Jovi?
Oh my God.
Been together
Since 1980.
Yeah, and still selling out arenas all over the world.
Oh, but they could tour forever if they wanted to, and they would
Completely.
sell. Dude, Nickelback can still sell out wherever they go. Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. So, and I don't get it because I'm not a huge fan, but I don't get why people age out. So why the turnover? And it's not even just a turnover for what's popular. It's a turnover for your entire career.
Yeah.
Is so short-lived.
I don't know. I find the hip hop audience is just so savage.
Oh, they'll get rid of you if they don't like you right away.
Like if they don't, and if there's a song that comes out, or if there is again a movement that takes over, where then everybody else starts doing it, they will look at everything before and just treat it as being whack, and you're done.
Right.
I think I'd also know why. I think hip hop more than any other genre really sort of it's sort of based on like being cool. It's not always just about the actual music. So for example, you mentioned diva pop, like the Mariahs and whatnot. It's all about their music, right? It's about their actual music, their talent, their voice. I think hip hop, it's a whole thing. It's not just the music itself, it's the whole I hate using this word, swag of it all, right? The whole cool vibe of it. And it's not easy to stay cool for a long period of time.
Tell
you know
me
what I mean?
about it.
You know.
All right, thank you.
Rachel has a question here for Damnit Maurie. Do the people that Damnit Maurie interacts with, for example, like Hot George from the gym, know who he is, and do they listen to the live show or the podcast and hear him talking about them?
Okay, when you talk about like Hot George or other people you find wildly attractive.
Do those people know?
Those people know?
Yes.
Yeah. Do they know like who you are, that you work for the Roz Mocha
Yeah,
show?
well, and other people mention it to them.
Right. Yeah. I imagine that there's a lot of that. That's why you got to keep your mouth shut.
Tixiana says here, if you could commit any crime and get away with it, what would you choose and why?
Obviously, I'd fix the lottery.
To win money. Yeah, anything for monetary gain.
Yeah, I'm not going to say murder because I don't want to murder somebody. I'm not a murderer.
I would say bank robbery because you don't have to wait for the results.
I wouldn't even rob a bank, man.
too risky.
Actually, no. You know what? If I was guaranteed to get away with
That's
it,
what it says, yeah.
Maybe I would like to be involved in some sort of caper thing, only because I would like planning it. But then again, that's sort of fixing the lottery too. Like you'd need some sort of plan on how to fix the lottery. Like you'd have to sit down and really plan it out, or like robbing a casino or something,
train.
or something like that, or robbing a train. Like what kind of train? Like a Via?
Yeah.
Like what? You want the coffee and like and a couple cans of Pringles?
Yeah, my answer was going to be along the money lines
Yeah.
because I love gambling in Vegas. I mean, I'm not going to Vegas anytime soon, but I would rig a game so that I won every single
and
hand.
so everybody could like be there with you and like
Yeah.
watch you do this. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's a great
Stealing
one.
art. Boom. Mic
Stealing
drop.
art.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with
Not
that.
to resell
though.
it, just to hang it up in your home.
But here's the problem with that though, is I don't know, you couldn't tell anybody about it.
No, but I'd get away with it according to the question, and then I could just have the Mona Lisa in my house.
No, you would get away with the actual theft of it, but that doesn't mean that it's not eventually going to come out and people would question why you own this.
Well, I'm sure
That's
it'll get out once I start
inevitable.
selling tickets for people to see it in my living room.
Right. Yeah. So you would steal art.
You would never allow that. Strangers in your home?
Yeah, but that's how you would make your money back.
Why not say this? Who's their favorite artist working right now?
Well, that's not dead?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Brainwash.
Okay, so why wouldn't you say, if you could get away with a crime, why wouldn't you say this, that you could literally put yourself in a room and whether I don't know whether you're using a gun or you're doing something, but you force him to do a custom piece for you, and then that way you don't have to hide it.
See, but the question's better if it's dead people because then the art's worth more.
Okay. So what would you steal?
Oh, you some Monet
Or
and the Mona Lisa.
Using the gun situation,
a Warhol.
brainwash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that custom piece. And not to get morbid or anything, but as soon as he's done the custom piece,
oh, then you
shoot him in the head, brain splatter all over the art piece, boom,
It's
worth more.
Brainwashed by brainwash. Oh, my
And you literally call the painting brainwash.
Yes.
Just like when Andy Warhol was shot, there was 2 paintings behind him that had a bullet hole in them, and those ones are now priceless.
Yeah.
I know where his studio is.
However, Maury would be committing 2 crimes. He would only get away with one of them in that scenario. So
That's true.
You're doing time.
Flu Buzz asks, ramen or pho?
Oh, easy. Ramen.
No. Pho.
Ramen because it has a very cool, awesome, unique, creamy taste to it, which I really, really love.
See, I haven't had...
And ramen comes with the egg in it.
No, for me it's pho.
Yeah,
100%.
I've had so much. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, there was this pho place, like 2 blocks or a block and a half away from my last work, the last radio station I was at. And we would go there like maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'll tell you the other thing that I love about when you order pho. If you get it from a good place, they literally serve it to you like in a gallon.
Yeah.
Like it's so much soup. It's crazy.
All
It's
that
so-
sodium.
All that
Yo, you leave. If you finish the whole thing and you leave, you are full for like the rest of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so bloated
No,
too.
you need to hook an IV up for fluids. Like you're so dehydrated
But
after
the
that
same
much
could be said about
pho.
ramen. You get a ton of ramen.
No, I just prefer pho though. I like the meat. I like how they give it to you and it's all raw, and then you put it all in the soup and you can control your amount. And then I like that brown, the hot brown that they give you, whatever that stuff is.
Oh, the
And
oyster sauce?
Yeah, and then you mix it in.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
See, to me, it's just the best.
If you're ever in New York and want the best ramen, you go to Ivan Ramen.
Don't want. I'm going to go to New York and I want the best pho. I don't want
know
the best
pho.
ramen.
I'm telling you where the best
What
ramen
about
is.
Ivan Pho?
What about Ivan Pho?
No,
Yeah.
there's only Ivan Ramen.
Too bad.
Okay, here's a question that comes to us simply from bruh.
Okay.
What is something you've done that you regret to this day?
Oh.
What's your answer?
When I once interviewed Justin Bieber and I never asked for a selfie.
You regret that?
What?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I've actually thought about this often where I'm like, I can't believe I never even asked for a selfie.
How often do you think
I know
about
what
this?
Matthew's answer would be. The one time where I asked if he wanted to come with me to meet Lady Gaga, and he stayed home and cleaned the bathroom because he didn't know who Lady Gaga was and didn't care.
Oh, wow. Interesting. That's a tough one. That's a tough one years later.
Yeah.
That's a tough
What's
one.
something that you've done that you regret till this day?
Oh, okay. Once. Well, I mean, I'm married now, but there was one time where a guy I was interested in.
Really? You don't act like it.
Yeah. A
There's
guy
a
you were
guy-
interested in.
The guy I was interested in, and he called and told me we were having an argument about potatoes. I'll never forget this. And he said that he loved me, and I was in shock and hung up the phone.
Oh.
And then he never spoke to me ever again.
Well,
You
yeah,
were-
because you hung up on him.
Wait, you
Yeah,
were,
I know.
you were shocked because he said he loved you?
Yeah, and I didn't know how to respond, so I just hung up.
Did you love him back?
I did, but I don't think I was ready to hear it at that point.
Right.
And I
Do you
mean,
think that you'd
things
still
worked
be-
out the way they worked out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I have
Do you
no
think you'd
idea.
still be together with him?
It's hard to say.
So you never called him back, or you did and he never returned your call?
He never returned my call.
Really?
Oh, so that was it. That was your last
was
encounter,
it.
or sorry, your last conversation with him.
I hung up and closed that chapter on my life.
Well, no, he closed that chapter. You didn't close that chapter. You called
Well,
him
no, but
back.
I hung up, so I
No, but
closed
you
it.
called him back.
Right, and he never called me back.
Correct. He closed the
Oh,
chapter.
yeah.
But wouldn't you say
Ooh.
that I closed it by hanging up?
No, you did not. You panicked, and then he realized that you were crazy, and then he closed the chapter.
Oh, he.
Yes.
See, I would say that I did by hanging up because if
No.
the chapter wasn't closed, by
If
me
you
not
hung
hanging-
up and never called him again, and then he kept calling you, and you never returned his phone call, I would say that you closed the chapter. But you panicked, and then he closed the chapter.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You hung up the phone, he closed the chapter.
I guess it depends on how you look at it.
No, it doesn't. we've just,
gave
we've
you
just
a
looked at it
perfect
both
example.
ways.
Anything that you regret?
Nah, I don't really have a lot of regrets in
Yeah, I was
life.
thinking about this as well, and I'm like,
I've done a lot of stupid things, but I don't really
Same.
regret anything.
because all those things that I've done that I was, that you would maybe look at and say, well, yeah, I regret doing that. In doing that, it taught me a lesson. You know what I mean? Like it helped me moving forward. Like that time, that I got arrested for stealing from HMV and, had to go to court.
It's not good.
And
It's
got
not
like
good.
a parole officer and everything, and then
it's
had to
not good.
write a report for the judge, and then show up for my court case. Obviously I regret that because I disappointed my family. It was the first time I'd ever seen my dad cry.
Yeah,
because he was so upset, so disappointed, and that hurt me. But
do you think you still have a record?
Back,
No.
do I have a record for that? No, that's gone. But like looking back at that, like I'm glad I went through that experience because it helped me like down the road. But
I mean, I have like regrets about things like the way that I handled like when my dad was dying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's just, what are you going to do? I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Although I do still beat myself up over it, but it's like, that's just, you can't let that kind of stuff not rule your life. It's too
Charmaine
much.
has this question for the room.
Yeah.
Have you ever been nervous doing the show or something else in your professional life? If so, what was it? And what do you do to overcome your nerves?
Oh, pause for 1 second. I do have a few regrets.
Oh, okay.
I do have a few regrets.
Hit me.
Which is when I started doing interviews. So I used to work for one station, and I did a late night show on that station, and then I did another sort of entertainment show, and then I went off to do ET Canada. And I had on both stations the same sort of bosses that were doing it. And everything was very different then when it came to the way that you would do these interviews and cover entertainment, because there was no social media at the time. Perez Hilton didn't even exist yet.
Okay.
Right. So we were sort of like writing the new rule book on what celebrity entertainment was. And then Perez Hilton sort of hit, and everything was shifted to a sort of meaner tone.
Yeah.
And I would get asked to go and do interviews with people and talk to them about the most private and uncomfortable things that had nothing to do with the thing that they were promoting.
Sure.
And I used to get sent to do all these interviews because I was the best at it. And I would do it. And I put people in some really, really uncomfortable situations and asked people things that I had no business asking about, because my philosophy is that it was better to have Lindsay Lohan mad at me for 5 minutes than have my boss mad at me for 5 months, because that's what would have happened, because I just never would have been sent out on stuff. And so I had my own sort of moral code that I compromised because I never felt comfortable doing that stuff. And so I compromised my own moral code doing those interviews. And then eventually we changed, and we changed before the rest of culture changed when it came to sort of, going back to being friendly, still inquisitive, and you still do the news, but you're coming at things from a non-malicious point of view, where we spent years being extremely malicious with the way that we did interviews. And I regret that. I regret that I sort of went against my own morals when it came to how you talk to just even another human being. That I regret that. I regret those moments. I regret putting Penelope Cruz in a position of where she stopped the interview down and leaned forward in her chair and started pointing at me in the face, yelling at me in Spanish.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Like moments like that, where I didn't want to ask the question, and it wasn't even that great, and it was never going to be that great.
Yeah.
Right. But I turned her off so much that she, in that moment, nothing was gained, but just everything was lost.
Have any of those celebs that you interviewed back in the day, like when you would have to ask them those questions, would you, like, after you've changed and things have changed, where you're not asking those questions anymore, have you had any encounters with any of these people where they remember you from the bad time? Let's call it the bad time of questioning.
No. And I wish I had. And there was one example that came up recently on social, and it sort of broke my heart a little bit, which was they used to love when I would go and do these interviews and they would get really flirty. Right. So they would, anytime there was like some sort of young starlet or whatever, they would send me to do these interviews because the mandate was, just go and have a good time and just be super flirty. And then I would bring these tapes back, these interviews back, and it would be just that. And then everybody would high five me and they'd be like, oh my God, it was like great. Like she loved you and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I would go in with that mandate. And then there was a moment I think it was about a year and a half ago, Megan Fox was talking about being sexualized at a young age in Hollywood. And what somebody did was they pulled up one of my really old interviews with Megan Fox, where I went in sort of with that mandate to talk about how sexy she was and sort of like, start flirting with her and everything else. And somebody pulled a clip from one of my really, really old interviews with Megan Fox, and people just went in on me.
Really?
Yeah. They just went in on me. And I want to take it in the conversation to be like, I regret this. Like, this was not me. This is not what I wanted to talk to her about. But I had a mandate going in there, and this is what was expected of me. Whether that's right or wrong, I shouldn't have done it. I should have had a better, sort of moral code. But yeah, that sort of crushed me a little bit. But I didn't know how bad some of those interviews were that I did. And then when that happened, I started going back, and like I remember just sitting in front of Lindsay Lohan, where she was promoting a movie, and it was the first movie she had just like finished rehab or whatever it was, and they only wanted me to talk to her about drinking. Like that was the only thing. And literally I would go and do these interviews, and they were like, if you come back with anything other than this, it's a massive failure.
Really?
Yeah, like those are the conversations I would have.
Damn.
So I'd be like crapping my pants, going to do these interviews where I just had to sit in front of them and do it. So I regret that stuff.
Yeah.
I regret that stuff that I didn't stand up sooner.
So back to Charmaine's question. Have you ever been nervous doing the show or something else in your professional life? If so, what was it? What did you do to overcome those nerves?
Nerves? No.
Nothing? Dan Maury?
No.
I get nervous still all the time when I'm going to go and do an interview, which I was told is still a good thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
It means that it's still that you're still passionate about it. But I could sit in a hallway at a hotel before going in to interview anybody, and I mean, you remember how nervous I was looking at Roz right now when I said that. When I was about to interview Madonna, when you were also interviewing, and I was like, crapping
you were
bricks.
losing your mind.
So I still get very nervous.
I get nervous anytime we have to do something in front of people.
Oh yeah.
On any part of my life. I don't like that. I still don't like it. I don't enjoy it at all. At all.
Yeah,
but other than that, no, I don't get not doing this show.
I'm with Damnit Maurie. I get very, very nervous when it comes to interviews.
You
Like
do.
when people, even like up until like pre-COVID, and we could have somebody in here that visits us like once a year. Somebody like Jason Priestley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he comes in and visits us once a year, and I will still get nervous talking to him.
Really,
I
yeah?
still get extremely nervous around talking to celebrities who are like, especially, big time, larger than life.
It happened last week. I was pacing around because it was when I was talking to Carol Baskin. Of all people, I was nervous going in to talk to Carol Baskin.
Every week, you'll find us on Instagram at Kiss925. Ask your question as part of Ask Roz Mocha, and we will invite one of you to ask your question live. And we'll just go through as many questions as we can and answer them on the podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Catch the guys live
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10
on Kiss 92.5.
Kiss925.com.
Or download the Kiss 92.5 app.